Everything looks good here. We got everybody running. Self-confessed cynic. Edril in the house. How's everybody doing?
Hello. Doing good. Doing good. How about yourself?
Awesome. I am doing really well. Yeah, this is the first time that we are having 3 people, so definitely looking forward to that. Yeah. Well, everybody's in the chat. We got everything good. I think we somehow managed to do this.
Oh shit!
Now
I want Ben's commentary, live commentary on the audio as we continue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're changing it up a little bit. Aside from Edril's empty echo chamber of a room, but other than that, I think we're pretty good. All right. Well, for those of you who don't know, we've got Self-Confessed Cynic and Edril, 2 heroes from the Knights of Last Call Patreon. And they are, of course, consummate professionals in the Pathfinder 2 space. And they are going to be my allies today as we attempt to make it through the level 8 spells. We're in the home stretch, so you've just got to level 15, so you only got 5 levels to enjoy these spells.
And boy, are we starting off with a great one.
Yeah, so this is...
I love this spell. Well, okay, wait. So are we just jumping into it, or are
no,
we do some banter?
We could give some banter because we want to give people a chance to come in here. So
that's fair.
Yeah, we'll give it a couple minutes. So, well, let's start off here. So, I recently, of course, just started a Pathfinder 2 campaign in terms of Quest for the Frozen Flame, which you should check out if you haven't checked out already. And of course, I just finished playing in a Pathfinder 2 campaign, which was run by the Knights of Last Call's own Aaron Smith, which was called The Dark of Winter. We have a video where he talks about that campaign. It was kind of experimental, and we changed a couple of things. And if you're interested in actually getting a PDF of that entire campaign document, it is available to Knight Patreon members who are champion tier or hero tier. Which is also worth checking and taking a look out. But what about you two? So, Vin, we'll start with you. What have you been doing in the Pathfinder 2 space recently?
Oh, so I continue to run my level 12 at the moment game. We are at session 93 or something like that.
Did you just say 9-3?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think the first season, which was Fall of Plaguestone, went for 25 sessions. There's a player log off the rails.
Okay. Number 1, no one should play any adventure for 25 sessions, okay? But definitely not that piece of shit. That is the worst.
How dare you?
That's one of the worst adventures of all time.
Okay, I'm actually curious if that's true because it's a pretty awful adventure.
It is really awful.
We did have a lot of fun with it.
You had a lot. You know what happened when we ran that adventure, right?
No, what happened when you ran the adventure? Did they just
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert for Fall of Plaguestone. Or arguably, you could also say, "I'm saving you so much pain and anguish." No, they went into the final place where the alchemist lives. And they encountered her alchemical familiar in the kitchen. And the adventure notes say, when that happens, she realizes, that she's under attack, and she sends her little minion to go blow up the town. And the party is supposed to go and kill her, and then, with her dying breath, go, ha, 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 you're too late, I have my revenge. I've already sent this overly elaborate plot to blow up the town by the thing in the center with the thing in the plague stone, because I'm so creative, because I'm Paizo. And then the players have to race to the town, and then they kill it before it gets there. Well, that didn't happen. Instead, they encountered the thing. She sent the familiar to go blow up the town. The heroes had no idea that any of this was happening, because why would they? Because the adventure doesn't tell you any of this. And they were like, we're kind of low on spells. Let's go camp in the woods. So they went and camped in the woods.
Town blows up in the background.
The
mushroom cloud.
And the town blew up in the night. So
that was good.
And then they were like, well, shit, I guess we'll go kill her. And they went in there, and she's like, my revenge is complete. And the heroes were kind of like, you know what? We kind of hated everybody in that town anyways. They were kind of awful and horrible. None of them were particularly likable. And it sounds like they were actually really shitty to you and your mother. So we're kind of with you. But, I mean, it's the adventure, and I guess we have to fight you. So we're going to? And then she was like, I have my super alchemical golem. It will defeat you. And that's like when we realized that like Pathfinder 2, we were, used to playing like 4th edition or other games where you had like these like active taunts or marking mechanic. Everyone's like, yeah, we'll just ignore that. And it's like, it didn't have attack of opportunity. So they just walked right past it and they went to the alchemist and they were just attacking her. And then she ended up being like knocked prone and then someone grappled her. Well, Aaron was gonna, with his dwarf, was like, well, can I grapple her? I was like, well, not with on an open hand. He goes, screw it. I'll throw my weapon down. And then he grabbed her. He crit. So she was restrained on the ground while a bunch of grown men beat this elven woman to death. It was
Lithe elf lady. Yep.
It was the visual of the scene. Also the bard
was she throwing up?
The bard was making her vomit. Yes, with psychic extrusion and pain, and it was particularly funny because being an alchemist, being sickened meant she couldn't drink any potions. So while being held down and beat in the face with a bunch of men, she was also vomiting and crying with pain. And I was like, is this what Pathfinder 2 is gonna be like?
Yes.
And the answer apparently was yes, by the way. Hey, we got a super chat. Sorry about that. I missed that. From Aetherwolf. Aetherwolf with a sick $25 super chat. Coming in and saying, having a great stream, guys. Thank you very much, Aetherwolf.
Thank you.
Aetherwolf is a fellow Aussie, right?
I don't know. Yeah, he's Aussie. Yeah,
Yeah.
Aussie. I don't remember if he was a hero or not. I think he might be.
No, I was going to say, but he's definitely an Aussie. I haven't seen him in a while. So good to see you. Thanks, Aetherwolf. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow. So anyways, all right. So Vin, that's you.
Yes.
What about you, Edril? What's been going on with you?
My answer is going to be a lot shorter because my Pathfinder 2nd edition has
Benetip
been kind of slow
$25.
lately.
Pierre
I was
needs to
doing a
have
lot
a
of Northern
tapestry
Reaches when
sent
it first
from
launched,
France
but,
to eat up
because of
some
my
of
health
those
issues, I
reflections.
stopped
Hold on a
for
sec,
while.
Edril. We just got a tip from Mr. Ben himself, who came in here with a $25 tip. All right. Apparently, Edril's the magic touch, Vin. You and I didn't get nearly this much money last time. He says Pierre needs to have a tapestry sent from France to eat up some of those reflections. There you go. Or some bookshelves. I must recommend. They're pretty good.
I actually have a bookshelf that needs to be assembled. I'll be working on it tomorrow.
Actually, at Smith's office, I actually went in there and installed some acoustic treatments to try to minimize it because he needed it. It was pretty good. But anyways, so thank you very much, Ben. We will get Edril on that. But Edril, you were saying, sorry, before Ben interrupted us with money.
I haven't been playing a lot of Pathfinder 2nd edition lately because of various things. I'm hoping to get back to doing some Northern Reaches GMing and playing soon.
Ooh, great.
Because that was a lot of fun, and I really want to do more of that.
Yeah, Edril, you were one of the breakout GM stars that really got everybody up on the thing. Have you been paying attention to what's been going on?
Not a lot.
Okay.
I've been pretty busy with work and other issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, they're
Like a town hall recently, right?
They just did their first raid.
I heard they killed a spider.
Yeah, so 12 people went into raid. The spider.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, and so but the rumor on the street though is that none other than Ben himself is going to run the White Dragon raid encounter.
Oh shit!
I signed up for that. I'm ready to die.
But full Ben rules apply. So like none of this dying 1, dying 2 nonsense. Like if you're going there, you gotta we were talking about how we might make a special role in the Discord that if you survive that session, you get like a special like a little bit of bling. So it's
my rogue is pretty evasive, so maybe he'll manage to hide in a corner for most of the fight and escape.
Look, Ben will find a way. Ben finds a way. It's just like Jurassic Park.
I have no doubt.
Yes.
But yeah, other than that, I've been playing in Ben's game of 7th Sea, which has been a ton of fun. So I highly recommend that game system. And the way he plays it with the GME and everything randomly generated is top stuff.
Which is a good thing to plug for the Discord. That hey, we play more than Pathfinder 2 on the Discord.
That is very true. Yeah, and actually, we are like 5 or 6 or 7 or something subs away from 5,000 subs. on the YouTube channel, and we're like 6 or something patrons away from 200 patrons on the Patreon. So if you're watching this and there's anything that if you're not subscribed, you should definitely be subscribed. And if you haven't joined the Patreon, you really should, because again, we are really trying to push the Knights of Last Call brand. Pathfinder 2 is going to be our base, but we're going to build a pyramid on top of that. And we really want to show you how these other game systems can do certain things better. And they could also give you cool ideas to bring into your Pathfinder 2 game or your 5th edition game and make that better. Role-playing games shouldn't be so insular. You should really be looking around. Or you could just take Pathfinder 2 and just completely destroy it like Vin did and just completely rewrite the system.
I almost want you to review my Dispel Magic, but if there's time.
All right. Well, all right. We are going to get into it then. So we've got who we've got here. We got about 25 viewers, so we are going to go ahead and get started. We'll get some people trickling in. We always do. All right. So we are starting off.
I do want to preface this.
Yeah.
So we are at level 8th, 9th, and 10th level spells.
Yeah.
What are the expectations?
Sure.
So we know how to rate these.
Yep.
Of 8th, 9th, and 10th.
That's a great question. Well, I'll let Pierre. Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, when you get to that kind of level of spells, they have to be, I feel, game changing. It's the kind of spell you get a few of those per day. They have to. I feel they should make some things trivial when you cast them, because they're supposed to be exceedingly powerful. Of course, that's not how Pathfinder designs their game.
Exactly.
But I feel like that's how I would like the spells to feel.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, and that's why I'm kind of nervous going in here. And again, I just recently had these spells as I finished up a campaign. And the Pathfinder 2 has this problem, right, where it goes, hey, our game is balanced 1 through 20, and that's like a selling point of our game. Mm-hmm. Well, that could be a problem. That could be a problem in its own way. So I would actually say that some of these spells are probably going to be woefully underpowered, and then some of these spells are actually going to be probably, like Edril said, game-changing, feeling like you're master of reality. But does that really vibe with the Pathfinder 2 ethos? And I don't know that it does. So, we'll probably get to Power Word, Sun, and Maze, for example.
Yeah, I feel like having those couple of spells, Maze is great. I feel like having those couple of spells that really break the game in some small instances. None of them break the game utterly. And I think that is the kind of power level I would look for. And my answer to the what do we expect from 8th level spells and higher is I like 8th level spells to be unlike or to be greater than any level below it. Same with 9th and 10th. And
I think 8th level for me is a deciding point, because this is the level to game. You're 15. This is the level where people get their first legendary skill increase. Mm-hmm. The game is basically literally telling you, fighters have been legendary for 2 levels already, but everybody else now, they get to be legendary, right, in something. And so, to me, this is where the game is very much transitioning into that. If it wasn't already there, this is your superhero, plane-hopping, lord. You are not even a Marvel character. You're like a DC character at this point.
You're the masters of the universe.
Yeah, you're masters of the universe. And the other thing, too, is it's like you only have, normally I would say you'll probably only have like 10 or 15 sessions left to finish up the game. But with Vin, it could be like 200 or something.
But 20, 30, yep.
Right. So I guess my thing is, there's not that much. You've been casting Broken Slow now for the better part of a year when you reach this point. Any spell that's here that's really problematic, you'll be lucky if you're going to cast it even 10 times before the game ends. So, there is that to keep in mind as well. All right. So let's start off with All is One, One is All, a horribly named spell coming to us from the Legends book. It is rare, and it has the Necromancy trait. And there is a Pathfinder.
Do you know this spell already?
I do not.
I love this spell.
You love this spell. Okay, so this is my first time reading it.
And the description starts with the flavor text, which is always great.
Of course, exactly. It is Arcane Primal with 3 actions to cast, and it's 60 feet, and it's you and up to 10 willing living allies. So at the very least, I at least appreciate that at least it targets more than you and like 3 people or whatever. You meld the target's matter and life force into one, and then in an instant, sift them back out into their component selves. Okay. When you separate the targets back into themselves, you could choose to switch the positions of any number of targets with the positions of any other targets. Additionally, you can modulate the share of vital essence to share the burden of pain. Of course, it's God.
The write-up is
can you just like you can switch the position of any of these 10 targets and switch their HP however you want.
Yeah.
Up to their max hit points.
Do we really need to modulate the share of vital essence to share the burden of pain? This makes this thing sound like it's a self-help group. And then
if you want to put that in the flavor text, sure, but put it in italics below the actual description of the spell.
100%. We were recently going over 4th edition, and I was like, look at how all these things are written. There's this clearly delineated area in italics above like the mechanical separation where it gives this fluff flavor text. It's easy to skip if you don't need it. And then boom, here's what the spell does. Okay. Well, I mean, this is obviously a pretty cool spell. It's rare though. Is that just because it's from Legends, or just because it's so?
It's also very powerful.
Or is it just because it's well? No, we've heard we had Mark on the show last week, and he said things are not rare because of their power level. So, consider that.
It's the intent of this is like because it's definitely some kind of evil, like kind of evil feeling necromancy kind of magic. Like you're blending all these creatures into one and then distributing.
It's only willing living allies, right?
Yes.
So you can't do this to your enemies. They have to be friendly. And I'm not sure how.
Is a summon a willing living ally? Could like everybody summon a spell creature, keep them outside, and then the next round you all as one, you reduce their hit points to 1 and you heal everybody else up to full?
Guess.
I mean,
I guess,
maybe.
yeah.
I suppose it depends on the kind of summon that you make. Like I assume like elementals probably not. Undead definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I like this is because it is one of the few spells that I feel have more utility as the combat progresses, or in like in the most dire of situations, this spell becomes more useful. Like if all your allies are already positioned with 2 people flanking and you 60 feet away, and like the enemy on the floor sick and dying, you don't need to cast this spell.
Correct.
But if everything's gone to shit, this is an amazing
spell. No,
spell.
I do appreciate this spell for being sort of a get out of jail spell. It's a great way to sort of reset kind of the encounter. It doesn't actually do anything in the sense that the number of hit points don't change and the actual positions of people don't change. So it doesn't actually do anything. So yeah. I mean, I agree, by the way. Luigi says, I do like to read the flavor. I like to read flavor, too. I think flavor is fun, but but not when I'm trying to, like, I'm going to be referencing this spell in the middle of a fight, and and maybe, by the way, it's like the 7th time I've cast it, or maybe I want to put my own unique spin on it. So, that's why the flavor needs to be segmented. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think the spell's cool.
It's all right. I think it's got some usefulness in, like you say, when things go to shit, but I also feel like there's probably something much better that you can cast, like an 8th level heal spell.
No, I disagree because this would be, and it also depends on party size because who has 10 people? Like, but Derek is correct in saying like, how do you even get to 10 creatures? But the idea of, because it's 3 actions to cast, so this is only really, or I guess you could quicken it by this level, but it's 3 actions to cast, so this would not be your cleric casting it. This would probably be someone else. And it's because we're looking at Arcane Primal. I guess Primal could do a 3-action heal, but it is more useful because 3-action heal is 8d6, 10d6 or something.
Come on! It'd be 8d10 plus 6, 8d10
or 8d10s.
Yeah, plus 6.
You don't get any pluses for the 3-action variant. It's just,
you get the healing hands though.
But that's the thing. If you need to restore hit points to a lot of people, you would cast a 3-action heal for 8d10s or 8d8s, depending on if you have the cleric healing hands. And if if you have like one person who's really injured, then you do the one person 8d10s plus however many 64 hit points.
I agree. I would rate this spell more on its cool, like the wonkiness of it and like the feel of the power of it than the actual power of it. So we'll go around the horn. All right, Vin, what do you give the spell?
I'd give it a B because I like collective transposition more.
All right. Edril?
Yeah. I'll go with B-.
Yep. Well, I was going to go with C. So, but the two of you went B, so I'm going to put it here at B minus. So,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
One down. All right. Ooh, a next one. This one is a very annoying spell, and rare, rightfully so. So this is Anti-Magic Field, where you get to spend your entire turn so that you suck. But anyways, it is a rare abjuration spell available to everybody but Primal, which I guess feels kind of right. It is 3 actions, and it's a 10-foot emanation, which affects you. It's weird that they specifically have to call that out, but it's sustained. So you're spending 3 actions to cast this. It's a 10-foot emanation. It includes you in it, and it's a sustained. And you repel all magic from the area, preventing spells and other magic from functioning. Spells cannot penetrate the area. Magical items cease to function within it, and no one inside can cast spells or use magical abilities. Likewise, spells, such as Dispel Magic, cannot affect the field itself unless they are of higher level than the anti-magic field. Magical effects resume the moment they pass outside the field. For example, a ray fired from one side of the field could target a creature on the other side as long as both the caster and the target are outside the field. A summoned creature winks out of existence but reappears if the field moves. Invested magic items cease to function, but they remain invested and resume functioning when they exit the field. The ability boost from an Apex item isn't suppressed within the field, which I guess they did there as a head nod to not having to recalculate your stats on the fly.
Yeah.
Spells of higher level than the anti-magic field overcome its effects and can even be cast within the creature. The field disrupts only magic, so a +3 longsword still is a longsword. So, long story short, you're going to lose all your runes on your armor and your equipment.
Yeah.
None of your spells or magical items are going to work. You probably have 10 or 12 invested items at this point in the game, which include things like probably elemental resistance, +2 or +3 to hit, a major striking rune, resilience runes on your armor, +2 or +3, item potency bonus on your armor. So not only do you lose all of that, but so do your allies. And monsters don't usually even have those things, so they aren't going to be affected by that.
Yeah, but if you're fighting a caster, they can't hit you.
That is true, unless they are higher level than you, which is the kind of caster that you would be worried about, and then their spells just go right through it.
I think
Unless they cast
magic,
spells that are higher level than this.
Sure,
So.
but I mean, like, if you were level 15 and you were fighting the level 18 or something wizard, the wizard's probably going to start off with his level 9 or 10 spells. I mean, if he wants to start off with a level 3 slow, I guess you got him good, but... You know,
I think this actually does. Well, I might be reading it incorrectly.
Okay.
I think it actually does affect higher level spells. It's just this part where it talks about higher level spells is talking about the spells affecting the field itself.
Gotcha. Okay. So spells can't penetrate the area. Period. Likewise, spells
at the end, spells of a higher level than the anti-magic field overcome its effects and can even be cast by a creature within the field.
There you go.
Why is that the end? Why is that at the end of the text?
Yeah. By the way, so I'm going to highlight this. At the start of it, it says you repel all magic from the target area. That is a lie. Right, because there are
because then it goes on to list all the things that it does not.
It goes on to list every single exception to that. Preventing spells and magic items from functioning. Nope. Spells can't penetrate the area. But then at the end it says spells of higher level can overcome its effects. God damn you, Paizo! What the hell? This is
fuck.
This is a horrible. Number one, this templating is horrible.
Yeah.
And number two, okay, so basically it would prevent lower level spells cast from lower level creatures from targeting you. But your saving throws are going to be 3 points lower. You're not going to have your armor class is going to be 3 points lower. Your attack bonus is going to be 2 or 3 points lower. You're going to be doing single D8s of damage with your, or D10s or whatever, or D6s, because none of your striking runes are going to apply. Right?
I'm trying to figure out when you would cast this spell. Like, in what scenario is this useful?
We'll see in a bit, Ben. I don't know. I mean, exploration mode.
But a trap would, I guess you
Here's the
magical
this
traps?
is okay. We've talked about this for 27 live streams now, right? Which is everything in Pathfinder 2 only works basically against things that are lower level or weaker than the effect that they are doing. But because of the math of Pathfinder 2, those are precisely the things that you don't give a shit about. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, if there was a hallway and it was full of level 6 fireball traps, right? This would shit on it, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, you're like going to critically, even the fighter has fucking evasion in Pathfinder 2. You are going to critically succeed at all those saving throws. And you probably have like fire resist 10 or 15 and probably will take little to no damage.
And then by the end of it, you can just medicine, or you could one person can cast heal and you can move on.
Correct. Yeah. So
you can spend 10 minutes having a ward medic heal everyone and you're done anyway. So.
Yeah. Eon Ryder says this is a GM spell through and through. I mean, in the sense that,
Absolutely.
I mean, this obviously completely screws. This is, you know what this spell is great for? You're level 15. The party's level 15. You've got a level 20 Lich. And he casts Anti-Magic Field. And he goes, there was no chance that you guys were going to hit me before, but now you have 2 or 3 points lower to attack me because none of your weapons have any potency runes on them. If you do come in to attack me, all your saves drop because your resiliency runes don't function. All your armor class drops, but I can still cast spells that are higher level than the anti-magic field, which I can because I'm a high level Lich. And because I'm a monster, I don't actually have gear, so my AC is just because I'm level 20. That checks out.
It does
so
mean
is it
you
a
have
GMS?
to
it's a GMS. And it's like a player F. I don't know.
See, that's the thing. I remember back in 3.5 days where anti-magic fields were scary, right? Because they would be like, you walk into an area, and sometimes there were monsters, I forget what it was, like a beholder or something, that everywhere it looked was a cone of anti-magic.
Sure.
It was awesome.
But you didn't need, because you didn't need, I mean, you did and you didn't. Like, Pathfinder 1 got kind of ridiculous at the end. Like, if I'm in an anti-magic field, my AC drops from 52 to 20, right? Like, it's... But it was kind of stupid because when you had AC of 52, like creatures that were your level needed a 20 to hit you. So it was kind of like, and nothing mattered, and the points, it
was the balance.
Yeah, it was the balance. I will say this: I have seen in my entire life this spell cast once. It was in a 3.0 module, and someone cast it in a fight versus an NPC monk, and the NPC monk proceeded to kill basically 2 characters because this got cast. It was so I am maybe being affected by this, yeah.
I'm loving this.
I wish
by the way.
if this could be cast. Go ahead, Edril.
Yeah, the emanation is only 10 feet, so you just need 15 feet reach to flick mace that Lich to death.
I know, because doesn't the weapon become unmagical as it enters the field?
I think it would become unmagical as it entered the field. That's how I would read it.
That would presumably
suck at
be
flick
up
mace.
to GM interception.
But here's the best part: if you were flick macing someone on the other side of the anti-magic field through
No
it,
issues.
no issues, no issue. The idea that the fireball or the ray could shoot through the anti-magic field and then appear at the other side. Not only that, that's stupid too.
So following that logic, if you're inside the anti-magic field, if your wizard casts the anti-magic field, and you're standing just on the edge, you can't be hit by spells, but anything you hit that's outside of the anti-magic field, your weapon still works.
Yeah, if you're standing in a circle around the wizard hitting outwards, yes.
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 So that's how you use it as a player.
And obviously they feel like this effect is really powerful, right? You're spending 3 actions and sustaining this to keep this going.
That's what I was to say. So my point was, if this was cast on a 10-foot burst, 500-foot range, this would be awesome. I'd love this spell.
Now, here's how this
it's an emanation on
right.
you. It's
So
garbage.
right. So all this, I don't know what. Number one, it shouldn't have messed with magical items because that's just crazy and wonky. They're essential to the game's procedure. Like the game doesn't work this way. It should have just given you like auto counteract checks against any spell and give you a bonus or something. Mm-hmm. Counteract checks at caster at effect functionally at like level 9 or something, or even maybe this thing says it works on everything but level 10 or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it should just work that way, and that's it. And it.
I still
stupid.
probably wouldn't cast it.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
Also, if what you want to do is fuck with an enemy spellcaster, I've got a better spell for you. It's called Silence. I've experienced it. Yeah. It worked pretty well.
Yeah.
It literally neutralized my Lich for the last 4 rounds of the combat. The Goblin Paladin ran after me with Silence on him. I was just like, well, I guess I can't cast spells anymore.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with GMS player F. I think this is I think this is you nerfing your party.
Yes.
I tend to agree. Yeah.
You're making yourself incapable of playing the game. So I'm going to give it
one fun gotcha encounter and you move on.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And then if your GM does cast this, you say, "I'm not figuring this shit out. You play my character." Tell me what happens, okay? I don't.
All right, you all die. Okay, moving on.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Listen, you have no power here, sir. Oh, we're all dead. Okay, what are you gonna do now? I guess we're just done. I'll just go. I'll just go play World of Warcraft or something. Like, I don't need you in your bullshit campaign. Listen. I'm gonna tell you something that you may not know. Okay, unless you're Ben. If you're Ben, this doesn't apply. But GMs, they need their players more than the players need the GM. Okay? Because
accurate.
Yeah, and so.
But Derek, are you saying that GM should seek the fun of their players above all? Is this a 5e pitch? Are we going down that direction?
Apparently, no. What I'm saying is, better to rule in hell than serve in heaven. Is what I'm saying. I'd rather have no campaign than a bad campaign. That's what I'm saying.
That's
the last addendum I have to anti-magic field is it's fun as a GM to not use it like it's written. It's trash. But having anti-magic fields in your world are, 1, interesting for world building, and 2, fun for puzzle solving. So I've set up some cool puzzles for players by having anti-magic fields that they can.
That's fair enough. Also, by the way, Don Pokey Life said something great, which is in Pathfinder 1. Vis-a-vis 3rd edition, right? Monster abilities were divided into extraordinary abilities, spell-like abilities, and supernatural abilities. There were 3 types. And if you look at any ability, you'll see EX, SP, or SU. SU and SP, in other words, spell-like abilities and supernatural abilities, both were consumed, countered, or otherwise did not function in anti-magic fields. Pathfinder 2 does not have that distinction. And so technically, like, dragon can still breath weapon you because it's not actually magic.
It's not magic,
right? But anything in the game that you think sounds magical wouldn't actually be affected by this. So, yeah,
these are more things to house rules.
I know. Ian Ryder says EXSUSP was a good system and shouldn't have been cut. That's debatable, but it did create.
Let's put this. I like that, but I'm also crazy.
Right. Exactly. All right. Strategy says the spell does call out magical abilities, right? But nothing in the bestiaries defines something as being a magical ability. So it's very
If you look at the write up on a monster, it doesn't say anything. It just says 2 actions effect,
right?
And sometimes some traits, but very
rarely does it have a trait. Like somebody will do something, you'll go, "Hey, does that have the manipulate trait or something?" No, it's just it does it has no traits, and you're like, "Really?" That just seems kind of crazy. It literally is manipulating things, but okay. All right, Boil Blood. We're 8th level, and it took us this long to boil blood. I'm not saying the spell is bad without even reading it. I'm just saying this feels like this should have been a much lower level spell. But anyways, single target DD. It's an arcane primal spell, 60-foot range. God, come on. Chain Lightning is like, what, 2 levels lower than this?
Yep.
And it's 500 feet, and it targets every creature known to man. Like, what are we doing here? Why? Who did they just did they Mad Libs these spells? I don't understand. Okay. Anyways, it's stupid. You heat a foe's blood and boil it within its vein. It takes 10d10 fire damage with a fort save. A non-living creature that has blood in its body can be affected. But a creature with no blood is unaffected. And this is literally just 10d10 damage, but if they fail the save, they are also drained 2. And if they crit fail, they're double damage and drain 3. And this is from Secrets of Magic, and it heightens by a massive d10. So So you can take this up to 9th level and do an extra 5 points of damage. Woo!
Well, how's 10d10 compared to average?
Well, that's a great question, asking the important ones. So let's see. We've got Fireball, which is sort of our generic baseline, would be doing an extra 10d. So Fireball would be doing 16d6.
Yes, it's 56 average.
So that's 56 average, and I can tell you that 10d10 is 55, so lower.
55. So that plus 34 if they fail to save.
Well,
So
it's their level
range.
times 2.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, roughly level 17, assuming. If it's
Well, no,
plus
level
one,
15,
so-
15. Well, you're assuming a +2 monster, but let's just assume on level. So plus the.
Okay,
I mean,
alright.
but for starters, the base damage for a single target spell is lower than the AOE
it's
spell.
lower, yeah. And
Not,
the AOE yes,
and
and the
we're
AOE.
ignoring Chain Lightning and Cone of Cold, which
Yeah.
do more damage, by the way, than Fireball.
Yes, that are above the curve.
That are above the curve.
Like the only redeeming aspect of it is the drained condition.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's not gonna be useful against higher level creatures. So this is a single target spell
Oh, no, I
for
think the
on
drain
level,
condition's
lower level
underrated.
creatures. I mean, the drain
No,
condition
I
is
think the drain
great.
condition-
Like,
Yeah, it's great.
drain
'Cause it
condition is
lowers
great,
their
but-
fortitude save.
but they have to fail their fortitude save. A higher
Yes,
level creature
correct.
Right.
That is the
not
problem.
going
It
to
is a
fail their
fort save.
fortitude
Yeah,
save.
and I want
It's
to
a
talk.
fort save to lower fort
And
saves.
I want to give a shout out to Josh, who says he's been following this since level 1 Arcane. This is the first time his schedule has let him catch one live. He is hyped. Welcome, Josh.
Welcome, Josh.
Glad to see you. Everyone's here. Hey,
Welcome,
and by the
welcome.
way, Josh is excited to be here. If you're excited to be here, you're excited to have Vin and Edril on. Please. Show your support. We've got links below to take you to our Stream Elements page to drop us a tip. You can also use the super chat function within YouTube if you'd like to go that route. Either way, we really appreciate the support. And if you like these conversations, and if you've been watching and following along and you have a lot to say, if you enjoy this kind of level of discussion and discourse about role-playing games, I really advise you to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/nightsoflastcall. We have a couple different tiers that can suit your price range, but most importantly, all of them get you into our Discord, which is going to let you join the conversation with a lot of these fine folks. So excited to have Josh here, and happy that you could make it here for live. So I want to talk about something. We're at the level now, 15 for sure. Most creatures, in my opinion, have extreme forts and wills at this level of the game.
Accurate.
Not high, extreme. And if you use the creature building rules out of the GMG, it very clearly states once you reach a certain level that it's normal for creatures to have 1 or even 2 extreme saves. And usually they are fort and will.
And I want to take a moment here to point out that and me and Derek saw this ages ago, but the monster manual breaks its own, well, the Paizo's monster creation rules in that monsters don't just have an extreme save. They usually have an extreme save plus additional bonuses against magic.
Right.
So it's just like, so it's like they have an extreme save plus 2 against magic for some odd reason, just because fuck spellcasters even more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of creatures. I mean, yes, Luke says not most creatures. Yes, but also at high level, you tend to fight like a lot more demons and devils and angel and things that have like have basically the +1 to saves, right? And the different components.
I don't think he's right about most creatures, because we did a random sample of level 15 plus monsters, and they were on average at high, and a large proportion of them were at extreme.
Yeah, I mean, my experience has been that a lot of creatures at high level have spell resistance and get that +1 status bonus to saves versus magic. Point is, Boil Blood is obviously a spell that you are not casting on some low level creature, because at this level, against a creature that's several levels lower than you, like the Barbarian, the Fighter, whatever, they're just auto critting. They are probably doing around 80 damage with a crit, give or take. And a Barbarian might even be doing 100, 120. And so this spell, even on a failed save, we are talking about an average of about 55 fire plus 30 from drained. So that's 85 damage. That's a level 8 spell, relying on a fortitude spell to do less damage than like an equivalent crit from one of your martial characters. And if you're
just cast Chain Lightning.
Yeah, I think you just cast Chain Lightning. I don't know.
Yes.
I think the spell is
and this is fire damage as well. So.
yeah, which we know many creatures are
It's
immune to.
terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. D?
That's being a little generous, maybe. D.
I mean,
I
think
reckon
D's
it's a
fine.
C. See, I reckon it's a C because
no.
I like drained a lot.
All right, well-
but that's pretty much me.
All right, so Pierre's saying worse than D. I'm saying D. You're saying C. So we'll go with D. because that's
right.
that's in the between.
I'm done with D.
All right. I don't think you're ever going to cast this spell. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, look, who would cast a spell? Probably someone whose whole spell list is thematic, and they just disregard mechanical effectiveness.
Luke says this is a D, so thank you, Luke. And I agree. Donkapoke said, why is this an 8th level spell single target? Below average damage, plus 0, 2, 3, fort save penalty. I don't get it. Hey, Josh, who we were just shouting out, with the $20 super chat. Hey, thanks, buddy.
Hey.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm glad you've enjoyed approximately 85 hours of Pathfinder 2 spell discussion. We've talked more about the spells of this game than a lot of channels have run games entirely. Thanks very much for that support, Josh. That's awesome. I wasn't trying to call you out on that, buddy, but I do appreciate that you showed up. Wow, we got a reader here, folks, in our next one. Don Pokey said 85 hours. My God. Yeah, that's the math on it, Don Pokey.
Oh boy.
Okay, Burning Blossoms is our next spell. Arcane Primal, enchantment fire with the plant traits. It's the elemental list, and you guessed it, it's another 3-action spell. You know, spoiler alert, if you want to enjoy this cool 3-action economy that everybody always totes as being awesome in Pathfinder 2, stay as far the fuck away from being a caster as you possibly can, because in many cases, not only will you basically be casting a spell and moving, which is what you would be doing in any other D20 game, but a lot of times you won't even be doing that. So, you know, enjoy it. All right, we've got 120-foot range, which, okay, fine, it's not 500 feet, but I consider that minimal at this level, that it should be that. It is a 30-foot radius, that's big, and it's a 100-foot tall cylinder, and I appreciate that they were component, you know, some verticality into it as well. And that's actually enough to hit multiple, flying creatures.
That big a radius plus
yeah.
the cylinder size.
And it lasts a minute, and it's a will save, which is interesting. An intangible hollow tree sprouts from the ground and grows to a towering height, radiating a fiery radiating a fiery passion and fascinating viewers. Ooh, the flavor.
This is gonna be bad.
The flavor text is already making me really concerned about this spell's chances.
This spell's
as soon as the word
okay.
"fascinate" appears, I'm already throwing out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, Edril.
Right. But this one's actually okay. Trust me, it's okay.
The base of the tree takes up a single square. I like that we have to get very specific about the geometry of this tree. The base of the tree is a single square, and it grows 100 feet upwards, while its branches are what extend 30 feet outward, forming the spell's cylindrical area. Utterly useless, completely not important, but thank you. The tree then blossoms, growing delicate white flowers that burn with a white hot fire. All of this nonsense as the tree's branches gently rustle in the wind. I'm surprised there's not a fucking haiku written into this. Flower petals drift to the ground in a shower of flame. Paizo, these people get paid by the word. I'm telling you, they do. I mean, we know they do, but this is, and we're paying for this book. They could have put 17.
Can you pause before the rest? I just need to point out that when I read this spell last night at like 2 a.m., I don't remember any of this first paragraph except for the last sentence that you're about to get to.
Okay. I do want to point out. Josh says he's trying to get his level 13 wizard survive Age of Ashes, and we've been a big help in making him get this far. Awesome, glad to help. Luke says this spell gives you a portable anime scene with a cherry blossom tree on the go. S plus for Sugioi or something. I don't even know how to say that.
Sugoi.
And Luigi loves this spell. So all right.
It's okay.
By
By the way,
I read a little bit ahead, and I can see
all right.
why.
Any creature that ends its tree under the tree's branches takes 6d6 damage fire from the burning petals.
Look, no save.
No
How about
save.
that? It's brilliant.
No save.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, how many hit points does this monster have? I don't know, 350. Well, it's probably immune to fire or has resist 20, but it's gonna take 18 damage. Okay. Any enemy that can see the tree even if they are outside of the spell's area, has to make a will save. This is an emotion, mental, visual effect, ensuring the maximum number of creatures that cannot be affected by it aren't affected by it. Creatures fascinated with the tree. See, I love, again, the spell templating, because it's telling us, and then it tells us that creatures fascinated with the tree, but we don't understand yet because we haven't gotten to the save conditions. Right. So we're like, wait a second, wait, what? Why is a creature fascinated with the tree? I don't even know this yet.
When were they fascinated?
When did they become fascinated? Creatures fascinated with the tree must use at least one of their actions on each of their turns to move towards the tree. On a crit, they're unaffected.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, on a crit, they are unaffected and immune for 24 hours. On a success, they are unaffected, but they must make a new save at the end of a turn if they can still see the tree. On a failure, they become fascinated with the tree until the end of their next turn. If it can still see the tree, it has to make a save again, and if they critically fail, they are fascinated until the spells end. The fire damage doesn't end the fascination. Oh, I like that they note that because damage ends fascination, this spell ends its own effect.
It only does not end its own effect on a critical failure. That's how I read it.
The tree's fire damage doesn't end the fascination. Other hostile actions end it as normal. If the fascination ends, the creature must attempt a new save. So it's saying if they critically fail, then when they take the fire damage, they don't lose the fascination. But normally,
but that's only on the critical. So
right. If they fail, they are fascinated, and then they take damage, and then they are not fascinated.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
You know, if they add a simple enter at the end of the creature is fascinated until the tree until the spell ends, the spell becomes a whole lot better, so that that second part is not with the critical failure. But I gotta say, if you cast that in the middle of a battlefield, you immediately win the battle.
You mean you mean against lower level people?
Yeah. If it's a huge battlefield of thousands of soldiers, you put that in the middle of the battlefield, and you're just like, peace, guys, I'm out.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where we have to understand, how is this game system being used, right? Mm-hmm. And, for example, I watched a high-level party go against an army, which, was composed of level 3 and level 4 and level 5 creatures. They were high level. They cast Storm of Vengeance, right? And it's you look at Storm of Vengeance as a 9th level spell. This is from Pathfinder 1. And you're like, this thing only does 10d6 damage. Yeah, but the area is 1,000-foot radius. And so 10d6 damage across a 1,000-foot radius, aka the entire 20,000 strong army, kills almost everybody in the army, and it wipes out the army in one go. Are we having those kind of encounters in Pathfinder 2? You could, but because of the way level works, and I feel like you're not.
And you're probably going to end up. You're probably going to end up using the battalion template. I don't think it's battalions.
Troop.
Yeah, the troop template instead of.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with D.
So the fact that the fascination forces them to use an action to move towards the tree. Pretty big deal, I find.
You could just you could just slow them.
I mean, yeah. No,
but imagine you put the tree behind them. There's the tree. There's them. There's you. They use an action to move away from you. Then they have to use another action to move back to you, and then another action to actually get to you. There's actually edge cases where I can see it being useful, and
it's a will, which is way better than fort, slow is.
Yeah, that's true.
When does it make its will save? Okay, here's the deal. It makes it at the end of its turn. Okay? And the reason why that's horrible is because it means it makes its will save at the end of its turn. It fails. It's fascinated. If you do any damage to it, it is no longer fascinated. And so on its turn, it doesn't have to use an action.
Yeah, but if this is to try and take an enemy out of the fight rather than...
Also, I don't know about the order of effects. What happens first? The creature takes 66 damage under its turn at the ends its turn, but it makes its save at the end of its turn. So which comes first? Because if it fails its save, becomes fascinated, then takes the 66 fire damage, it is no longer fascinated.
It has to be damage first. Has to be. Has to be.
There is no procedural order in Pathfinder 2 for how effects get applied.
It's higher on the spell description. How about that?
Okay, all right. Everybody in the chat is saying C. I'm gonna get
because
fine. I mean, all right.
when
I'll
did
give
you
it a
see-
C. I'll give it a C just because, as Pierre said, it's this massive battlefield, giant, illusory anime cherry blossom burning tree that anybody who's affected by it is drawn in by its captivating beauty. Yada yada yada.
Sure.
All right. We got spells to go through. Okay. All right, here's another spell with an incredibly long name, the Canticle of Everlasting Grief. And actually, we have the Canticle of Everlasting Grief. It's called These Spells.
We're
I
experiencing
haven't read
it
this
right
one,
now.
so this is going to be...
All right, here we go. Canticle of Everlasting Grief has every trait in the game except for incapacitation. It's auditory, curse, emotion, enchantment, fear, mental. Remember, having more traits is usually a bad thing in this game because you're just giving more creatures a chance to get a bonus to a save or to be immune to it. A lot of creatures are immune to fear. A lot of creatures are immune to emotion, mental, curses. All right, it's 2 actions, thank God. Divine and Occult, so no Arcane, no Primal. 120 foot, 1 creature makes a will save. You create a melody of dispelled from pure grief, so bard spell, conveying the inevitable loss of everything that your target cherishes. I know this is crazy. I know that we're playing a game where you have like fatal picks and you have like, you know, deadly bows and you're critting people and you're splitting them open with axes. But there's something about these spells, man. It's like the most depressing thing they could. It's like worse than just killing somebody. Like it's like no, you're gonna suffer. I'm gonna make you experience the worst depression any human has ever experienced before you die. Okay, they have to make a will save. If they succeed, they take 5d6 mental damage, they're frightened 1, and they cannot benefit from circumstance or status bonuses for 1 round. If they fail, they take 10d6 mental damage, they are frightened 3, and can't benefit from circumstance or status bonuses for a week. If they critically fail, they take 20d6 mental damage, frightened 4, and they cannot benefit from circumstance or status bonuses until the curse is broken. And while that curse remains, the target allies are also unable to benefit from circumstance or status bonuses while within 15 feet of the target. So that's a GM spell, because how often do monsters have status bonuses and circumstance bonuses?
I've seen it. You get like, you know, orc warlords who have a war cry that gives status bonuses. I assume there's a few others at higher level that are going to do that. I'm kind of interested.
Frightened 3 with essentially unlimited duration is pretty fucking incredible.
Well, unlimited duration on the can't benefit, you mean?
So if it's a failure, they take 10d6 damage, but Frightened 3 for a week may as well be...
No, they're not Frightened 3 for a week. They're just Frightened 3. Frightened always ticks down.
Frightened will decrease.
They cannot benefit from circumstance or status bonuses for a week. So what does that mean? It means you cannot aid them. It means they get no benefit from raising a shield. It means they get no benefit from those miscellaneous feats that give you a circumstance bonus. It means they get no benefit from spells like Heroism or a Bard's Inspire Courage or Inspire Defense. I think, honestly, at this level, like if they fail, a PC is probably got like some sort of in the neighborhood of +2 to +3 from various statuses and circumstances, and they're frightened 3. This is like a -6 to a PC's next action. I think that's a lot. But against a monster, I don't think it's that.
I was thinking that one of the use cases would be if you're like against a mob of lower level creatures that are, you know, mobbing you, targeting you. You cast that on one of them, and that way you dispel any status bonuses that the entire mob has while they're surrounding you. And that might be useful, but at the same time, why don't just cast Fireball? Yeah. That's kind of where I ended up in the end. I'm just like, just kill them all.
And I also don't like this as a GM, because saying that a player can't have circumstance or status bonuses for a week is like saying you can't work with your friends for a week.
Correct. I mean, technically, it is a curse, so you could dispel it, or
they could dispel it,
or remove curse it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean,
the counteract check.
In my opinion, this is a very powerful debuff.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I just think it's way more useful in the GM's hands than the player's hands.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, I personally, I screw this up all the time. I always forget to have my monsters aid each other because it's just so much housekeeping and like bookwork. Like, no, I'm serious. It really is.
Yeah.
It's actually a really pain in the ass.
It's hard enough to keep track of all the status bonuses and hit points, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
At the table. If you have to add aiding on top of that, it's like...
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but when we played high level, like we were almost always perpetually hasted, right? So we always had like 4 actions. We were pretty much aiding every round. Like everybody was aiding everybody because once you get to legendary, you're adding it's auto success and you're getting +4. So it's like that's a huge bonus if to a caster casting a spell attack or
it's +4.
You know, and even to a right, you have to start the chain because you want to stack your bonuses on that flail wielder or that hammer wielder for that first attack, so they crit, so that the creature is automatically prone, and then the fight is over, right? So it's like, between a heroism or an inspire courage and a legendary aid, you're talking about like a +6 or a +7 bonus to attack. This spell would prevent that from happening. So I think it's way more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm fighting back against the GM side of it because one, I don't want them to fail because I don't want them to stop aiding each other after this combat ends, and two, you're
grading it on like how fun this is.
Yeah.
Or are we grading it on
because that's what a GM should do. If we're putting in the GM column, it should be on as a GM. Is this good to use as a GM?
Well, I don't see it that way. I view it as this is more powerful in the hands of a GM.
Oh, okay. That's a very different calculus.
Right.
It's a very different calculus.
Yeah. All right, Eon Rider, we'll see you later. I don't know. We got to go faster. So.
Okay. All right.
I like the spell as a B.
Yeah, B's good.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
B works.
All right. Clone Companion is our next spell. We don't have too many spells, but we still got to get through them. All right, this is primal only, 3 actions. 30 feet, target your companion, and you have to sustain it. You get a duplicate of your companion. It's the exact same as the thing. It has the same stats. Every time you command your companion, both it and the duplicate get 2 actions. The duplicate always acts immediately after your companion and must use identical actions to the ones your companion used and in exactly the same order. However, it can use the actions differently, such as striding to a different position or striking a different target. If the duplicate is unable to mimic an action, it performs the action without any result, and that action is wasted. The duplicate isn't truly alive and cannot be healed in any way, and if it ever reaches 0 hit points, it's destroyed, and the spell ends.
Sustained. 3 actions sustained.
3 actions sustained. And then keep in mind that you're going to be then using an action to command.
Yeah. So that's 2 of your actions every turn.
So you're not casting spells if you have this out.
Yeah. Unless, isn't there...
Many casters can auto sustain as free.
You say that.
Or next level.
But what you really mean is like Witch and Sorcerer.
Wait, is that it? I know Wizard doesn't get it.
Wizard doesn't get it. Cleric doesn't get it. I'm pretty sure Druid doesn't get it. So...
And this is a Druid spell.
When everybody says, "Oh, well, you can get free sustain," I go, "I think you guys are only looking at the Sorcerer class."
And this is mostly going to be a Druid spell because of the animal companion aspect.
Yeah.
I think Druid's companions can get like a free action even if you don't command them after a certain level, though.
Correct.
No.
So
it's what they're matured. No, the way it works is, by the way, Deadly D8's here. Hey, how's it going? The way it works is a mature animal companion gets a free action on your turn, but this creature, unless you command it, in which case it doesn't get the 1 action, it gets the 2 actions that you get from commanding it. This creature would not get that free action. It's very specific.
No, each time you command,
Yeah, it's very specific. So.
Wow, you are just not casting spells, huh?
You are not casting spells.
You have to command. You have to sustain.
You're right.
And then you just.
And so even if you were hasted, you have 2 actions left, but you can't use the haste action to cast spells.
Move or strike. So
yeah.
Wait, at this level, as a Beastmaster, don't you just have 2 companions out?
Okay, we ignore Beastmaster because everybody knows it's broken as shit.
No. Beastmaster doesn't have 2 companions out. You have 2 companions, but you can only have one at a time.
No, I think that their capstones is you have them out at the same time. Like one of the higher level Beastmaster.
Really?
Feats, isn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know. I haven't played a Beastmaster
All
for a long
right. By
time.
the way, CJ Pan says that wizards do get effortless concentration, and strategy came in. Bards, druids, sorcerers, summoners, witch, and wizards all get effortless concentration.
Okay, so cleric gets fucked.
Sorry. My experience was with the cleric, and it's just that one specific class gets shit on.
once again,
man.
cleric.
What a mess. That's so mean.
Don't play a
that.
cleric. I'm sorry. Just don't play a cleric. It's the worst spell list, and their feats are so bad. They don't get anything cool. They
get one cool thing, and that's they get to heal like a lot.
So painful.
Tim Carpenter just renewed his Adventurer subscription. If you're interested in getting cool emojis and a fun loyalty badge, feel free to join the adventure by clicking join in our YouTube page, and you'll become a member of the YouTube community. GM Scott
so
using
the
all the emojis. All right. Ignore this. All right.
Can we...
what do we like about this spell? You can't cast spells, and I think that's horrible.
Yeah,
I like
my
GM's got tipped $25.
Hold on a sec.
Hey, Vin and Edril, good to see you on the stream. Just wanted to stop in, can't stay. See you in the VOD.
All right. GM Scott says, tipped $25 big dollars and says, hey, glad to see Edril in the stream. Can't stay. We'll catch us on the VOD. Hey, GM Scott, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the... Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Looking forward to drinking your Aberlour Scotch that we are going to be busting out that he gave us as a gift at Origins. All right. So, thank you, GM Scott. All right. So, you can't cast spells.
It comes down to how strong are companions. At end game, and in the final fucking quarter of the game, if you ever get to level 20, are companions actually in any way competitive? Because I think they're always 2 to 4 behind.
The other thing is...
That's the question.
The other thing that I don't like about this spell is the turn you cast this spell, you don't even get to command your animals.
No. Because it's 3 actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only next turn. It's like a summons. It's like a bad... I give this a C
So basically,
just for the flavor.
It only starts paying off...
I'm going to give it a D.
The turn after... not the turn after you cast it, the turn after that. That's
summons are bad, but at least you're spending 3 actions, and then you get the summon to get its 2 actions. This, you don't get anything.
This is an F. This is an F spell. It's garbage. It's utter garbage.
All right. All right, I said D. Edril says F. Vin, what do you got for me?
C.
All right, well...
I can't believe I'm the most generous in this chat.
I'm downgrading it to D-. All right, here we go. All right, Deluge is our next spell. Nothing like getting to 8th level and being able to summon water.
Oh, man.
And of course,
this one might be broken.
It's from an Extinction Curse adventure path. But it's 2 actions, 500 feet, 40-foot burst. All right.
Yeah, this one might be broken. It's pretty good.
You unleash, not a 40-foot radius burst, by the way, just a 40-foot burst. You unleash a catastrophic downpour in the area that vanishes an instant later. All flying in the creatures in the area descend 50 feet, or until blocked by the ground or firm surface. Each creature whose descent was blocked by the ground or firm surface takes bludgeoning damage equal to the number of feet it fell. The creature does not take falling damage. It is then knocked prone. Creatures on the ground, including flying creatures forced to the ground, must make a reflex save or be 50 feet, push 50 feet away. So, 50 damage, no save, prone on flyers.
That's ridiculous.
That's pretty good.
That's ridiculous.
It's actually useful.
If the flyers, though, are 60 feet or higher, it does essentially nothing.
Correct.
It brings them down closer to you so you can do something to them.
Yeah, that's true.
But no save, damage, huge area, huge range, good way to deal with flyers, and knock prone automatically. I mean, I think that's a solid B.
That's great.
Yeah, B+.
I mean, B for situational.
I think it's just too situational,
It is situational. You might want to have it as a scroll.
A wonder scroll.
No, it's I like it as a scroll because it's a 2-action spell. So you can use that action to interact, pull it out. Like if you have a bunch of flyers and they're all at 50 feet or less, boom, pull out the scroll of Deluge and hit them. I actually like that better.
That's great.
Actually,
that's really good.
In fact, in that regard, I like it as an A scroll.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because
I'd put it in both because like things like druids and stuff, you could definitely prepare this. You would never. And also remember when we get to level 8, scrolls and wands actually start getting legitimately expensive.
Correct.
Rather
That's
than
true.
below that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Devour Life, also from Extinction Curse, is a 2-action. Oh my God! Uncommon, death, healing, necromancy, negative. 2 actions for a divine occult, 30 foot, 1 creature, basic fort save. Is it actually going to be a basic fort save? You attempt to utterly consume the target's life force. They take 60 negative damage with a basic save. If this reduces them to 0 hit points, it dies immediately. Again, irrelevant against monsters most of the time. You regain hit points equal to half the negative damage the target takes after applying any resistance. Any excess healing is gained as temporary hit points, which hang around for a minute.
Is it like
So
30-foot
Vampiric-
range sucks, but
is it like Vampiric Touch, or there's an AoE one just straight up better than this?
vampiric exsanguination.
Yeah.
I think it is. The only problem with vampiric examinations is I think it's 2 damage types from memory. I think it's like negative and piercing or some shit. I forget. Doesn't like summon. Oh, am I thinking of the mouth one? There's a mouth one that bites.
It's a vampiric exsanguination is a 30-foot cone. It does 12d6 negative damage. You gain temporary hit points equal to half. So it doesn't heal you, it's just temp, but it's an AoE, and it's 12d6,
Yeah.
and if you heighten it to level 8, it would be 12, 14, it would be 16d6 damage, and 16d6 damage is 56, which is exactly what this spell does. So this spell is a single target vampiric exsanguination.
So it's worse.
It's awful.
Yeah, that's
It's
horrible,
Wait,
right?
wait, wait.
This is a D.
I mean, I guess
Yeah,
technically
it's a
you
D.
automatically kill it.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I
It
mean,
doesn't
if
matter.
Doesn't matter.
And by the way, it doesn't matter. And to Vin's point, if a GM did use this on you and he was like, "Ha, you're dead instantly," you'd be like, "Okay, well, I fucking hate you. So how about that?"
Yes.
Okay, so
And 60 isn't enough to kill most players like until the end of the combat. So it's like.
all right, so this was one that we got previewed earlier, and I think might be actually busted. Disappearance.
Okay. Oh, this is like the actual invisibility.
So this is 2 actions, range, touch, 1 creature lasts 10 minutes. So great to cast beforehand, whatever. You shroud a creature from other senses. It becomes undetected, not hidden, undetected. That means they do not know what square they are even in.
Mm-hmm.
Not just to sight, but to all senses, allowing the target to count as invisible no matter what precise or imprecise sense an observer has. It is still possible for a creature to find the target by seeking, looking for disturbed dust, hearing gaps in the sound spectrum, or finding some other way to discover the presence of an otherwise undetectable creature.
Jesus.
There
Cast
is
this in your rogue for fun times.
there is nothing in this
proper
spell that
invisibility.
says it breaks.
Yeah. Nothing. I don't
No,
think it
doesn't.
breaks.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's lasts for 10 minutes. It's like a real you are actually invisible for 10
So
minutes.
I mean, I think this is like an S tier spell.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a rogue on your party, you
No,
do
but
this every
realize
single
this,
time.
okay? We realize this. You're undetected, okay? That means normally, okay, when you're invisible, okay, and you're undetected, and I go up to somebody and I attack them, I'm obviously still invisible with improved invisibility. But I am no longer undetected. I become hidden. That means that the creature I just attacked at least knows what square I'm in.
Right.
Okay, so they can target that square, and they have a 50% miss chance. But they could also throw an AoE, or they could use a seek action and try to find me. You are always undetected. That means that even when you attack an enemy, in game player terms, the player, I would say, "Hey, you're hit," and you're like, "What square did it come?" You don't know. You don't know. You have to guess. It was a melee strike.
They have to seek you.
Yeah, they have no other way. You have to seek them. That spell is ridiculous. Number one,
very,
you
very good.
are causing them to have to suck up an action, and then if they are seeking, that they might fail that check. And then at best case scenario, if they seek you, they go, "I know you're in that square." And here's the best part: if that was you as a player and the monster was disappeared, you can't even tell your other party members what square that was, because that's an action. It's called point out. So if you
I would like to point out. I'd like to use the point out action to tell my party that most monsters with true seeing have True Seeing constant 6th.
Correct. Which would not get through this. It gets through improved invisibility, which is a problem otherwise. But True Seeing would not necessarily get through this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this spell is busted. That's my personal
it's busted.
take.
7. So is it S or S plus is the question. I reckon S.
I think 10 minutes and it's touch?
Yeah, but it's one combat, right? So it's like...
no, not
really, really
if
good.
you don't treat wounds, if you use one of the 27,000 worthless heal spells that the cleric has, like given the map size and the actual combat, if you don't,
you're right. You could do a whole.
You could do an
dungeon
entire Pathfinder 2 dungeon, a Paizo Adventure Path dungeon. As long as you didn't do treat wounds, you could do the entire thing in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Also, you can just put that on your rogue, and he walks alone into an encounter, just murders everyone without ever being detected. And keep going.
So someone asked a great question. Let's take a look. PF2 seek. Okay, if you seek, it is the stealth DC.
Oh my god.
So that means a rogue stealth DC.
Yeah.
A rogue stealth DC is nuts.
Because they're legendary.
You will never find the rogue.
Yeah. I mean,
you put that on the rogue, he solo clears the adventure for you. You just wait at the entrance, and you're like.
I think this is I think this is an S plus spell.
Yeah.
I'd give it that. S+.
Okay. All right. I'm down. That spell's busted.
I didn't actually know the spell
existed.
I didn't really read. No. I knew it existed, but I didn't look at the 10-minute duration, and I didn't look at the undetected that way. I just thought it was like you're just invisible.
Right.
We don't have all the constraints of invisibility.
Yeah.
But no, it sounds like you're undetected.
Right.
And invisible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It's pretty good.
Discern location.
Let's say Draco's got a new spell. Draco's gonna.
Yeah. That's a nice one. I mean, that's just a nice one. Boothby says, "I tried." Yeah. No problem. I tried explaining how good Disappearance was to my players, and they still never cast it.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, because Draco will learn the spell. He's a sorcerer. He will cast this on every party member.
Yeah, why not?
What are you gonna do then?
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
You're gonna game over, man. Like, what do we do? What are we doing? Everything's flat-footed to you, by the way. Also, yeah. This is great. Anyways, you just casually have a 50% miss chance. It's crazy.
But the enemies cannot see you. It just breaks the anyway.
Now, now, strategy puts out a good point. It says Disappearance also stops any and all attempts to communicate between that PC and the rest of the party, or buffing, or excluding from AOE.
Not necessarily, because you can cast telepathy by this level.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree. In fact, we did this because at a higher level in our Pathfinder 2 game, we kept getting power worded. So we would actually always have the emanation silence because power words have the auditory trait. So you have to be able to hear the power word. So we would always have silence on ourselves so that we couldn't be power worded. And but we would the bard or the monk who had bard devotions or whatever would cast mind link or whatever on us, so we would have telepathy. Yeah.
I don't know if telepathy is a sense.
I do not believe telepathy is not a sense. It is a language.
Yeah, I think it's something nonsense like that. And it shouldn't be a sense. Like, let's be honest. Like, it shouldn't be.
And it's definitely not a sense. Very sure it's not a sense.
But I think in other versions it was like when there was like telepathy was linked to like mind touch, and people so frequently took both feats that it became essentially a sense. But I don't think it ever was a sense.
Yeah, I don't. Can you hear the telepathy of a disappeared person? I believe you can. I mean, I'm actually kind of wondering if you could probably hear the voice of the disappeared person.
It doesn't. It says or they can't detect. You remain undetected, but to me that sounds like you could talk and they wouldn't know where it's coming from.
Now, here's the thing, though. Not the spell. Okay, it does. It says you become undetected not just to sight but to all senses. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you couldn't hear them talking. That's fine.
Yeah.
Which is even better for casters.
But by the way,
though,
because it's Pathfinder 2, I do like that it says it's still possible for a creature to find seeking, looking for disturbed dust, hearing gaps in the sound spectrum.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know. All right. Let's do discern location. Range unlimited. Casting time 10 minutes, one creature or object. You learn the name of the target's exact location. including the building, community, and country, and their plane of existence. You can only target a creature if you've seen it in person or have one of its significant belongings or have a piece of its body. Okay. To target an object, you must have touched it or have a fragment of it. It automatically overcomes protections against detection and divination of lower level than their spell, which is, again, one of the reasons why we rated those spells so badly, because we're like, it doesn't even work. Even if they would normally have a chance to block it. Yeah. I mean, this spell
Yeah, it just works.
works. Yeah.
I mean, good scry. It's good.
It's
scry.
good scry. It's good scry.
This is a way to overcome disappearance.
Well, you do learn their exact location, which I would argue is a square. So if you spend 10 minutes, you will learn their exact location. Then they move, and then you don't know their exact location.
No, you'll know their location when this disappearance spell ends.
Ooh. I don't mind that. That's pretty funny.
I mean, this spell's great. A, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd give it a
I mean, it just works, and you can learn where you are. All right. This spell better be sweet. It's called Divine Armageddon.
Okay, great.
It's divine only, though, so it's probably not. All right, here we go.
It's a cleric spell.
It's a cleric spell. Necromancy, negative and positive. It's 120-foot range with a 60-foot burst. That big. That's very big. You call forth divine cataclysm from your deity, destroying living and undead creatures in the area alike. Creatures in the area take 10d6 negative damage and 10d6 alignment damage. If your deity is true neutral, increase the negative damage by 4d6 instead of dealing alignment damage. So you get to do 14d6 if you're neutral instead of 20d6. Another example of how being neutral gets fucked.
Get fucked if you're a cleric of Nethys.
Yes, fucked if you're a neutral cleric. Yes, neutral clerics get fucked all the time, and half the spells can't be cast if you don't have a deity. So like they're like, you could be anything. You could be a philosopher. You know, it doesn't work. A creature.
Yes, but you have magic missile.
A creature harmed by positive damage, such as one with negative healing, takes positive damage instead of negative damage. You can't. Oh, here you go. You can't cast this spell if you don't have a deity. So you're doing 20d6 damage. At 120 foot, 60 foot raise. So it's better.
It's interesting to me because I reckon this cell is kind of saying that 10d6 alignment is equal to 4d6 non-alignment. I don't actually think it's as simple as neutral people get fucked. I think alignment is so fucking rare that's only equal to 40% of its value.
Right. Well, I mean,
that's not a bad point actually.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: if it lines up perfectly, and you know your deity,
you dominate.
Yeah, you're doing 20d6.
You're fighting undead, and
you're doing 20d6, which is more than Fireball, more than Cone of Cold. That's a lot of damage. It's a Fortitude save, which is a little unfortunate, instead of a Reflex save. But I don't know.
20 times.
I can see it. So, like, having played a War Priest at kind of higher levels. You do two things as a War Priest. You either smite something if it's a boss, or you cast an AoE spell if it's a bunch of mobs. This is what you want for your AoE spell if it's a bunch of mobs.
I agree. Also, if they are undead and they have negative, you know, if they take extra damage from positive, and if they're any sort of demon or something like that, and you're a lawful good cleric and you cast it as a good, and they take bonus, they have weakness 10 or 15 from good, you're probably going to tag that.
The weakness would be good.
So I think that's pretty.
To figure out what Chain Lightning does at this level, because this does average 70, which is pretty high.
That's pretty high.
But
I think this is a pretty good spell. And also, remember, one of the things that we do in this list, this is divine only. So as a divine caster, you don't get Chain Lightning, right? Like, so
that's
yes,
what we gotta
you're not incorrect. Chain Lightning does average 65, which just shows you how strong that spell is.
Right.
This is like. In the best scenario for this top tier divine spell,
it does 5 more points of damage. Yes, I'm going to say this is an A level spell. I think
that's what I was going for.
Yeah, I think this is a great spell. So
yeah,
it's pretty
it's
good.
exactly what you want as a War Priest, I think.
Well, your saves are shit though. Aren't your DCs bad as a War Priest?
Yeah, they're not great, but it's okay. You're targeting lower level mobs.
Right. Okay, I agree with that. All right, here we go. Divine Aura, which I think is a great spell. Even if it is a little wonky. It's divine only. Again, it's a 10-foot emanation. It's only your allies, and you can sustain it for a minute. Everybody gets a +1 status bonus to AC and saves while in the area. However, if you choose an alignment your deity has, yada, 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 creatures that are opposite to that alignment, the bonus increases to +2. So you get +2 status to AC, +2 status to saves. So outside of Inspired Defense from the Bard, this is the highest status bonus to defense in the game. Pathfinder 2 is very stingy about handing out bonuses to AC. It's very cavalier with handing out bonuses to attack rolls, but it does not want you to turtle up. In addition, this goes to +4 bonus against effects that would otherwise control you. Additionally, if a creature hits you, anyone in the aura, they have to make a will save or become blinded for a minute. And every time you sustain the spell, the first time, the aura grows by 10 feet. The problem is you do have to sustain it.
Yeah.
But it is basically it's +2 to AC.
Bad.
I mean, assuming you're fighting...
The amount of times that fucking divine sorcerers become more and more broken in my head. It just
Right, because here's the thing. A cleric cannot freely sustain this.
Right, yeah,
but
yeah.
the sorcerer could.
Yeah, he could cast it once. Oh, no, up to 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, so he could cast it for the whole combat, essentially.
Again, the fact that it's blinded, by the way, it's blinded for a minute, and it doesn't have the ink cap, which is wonky. It's kind of weird. It's +1, but possibly +2 bonus to status. To saves, well, your heroism is already doing that. But to AC, that's pretty good. And that stacks with raising a shield. So like a champion or somebody who raises a shield is +4 AC. While in this effect.
I mean, like, so the negatives are sustained on a cleric, and it has to grow before you really get into good range.
I mean, it's not bless, which is 5 feet extending by 5 feet.
Yeah.
This is 10 feet extending by 10 feet. I mean, that's...
Yeah, but that's still not big, especially at level 15, 16. That's not a big fucking radius.
I agree.
I do wish the radius were bigger.
Now, I would think this is a good War Priest spell, because I cast this, I move, like I'm hasted or something before we go in the fight. I cast this, I move, I attack. The next turn, I sustain. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is cooler.
Yeah. You cast this, you move, you cast Weapon Surge and murder something. Then the next turn, you move, you smite, and you sustain.
This is a good. This is the
it.
War Priest spell.
Yeah, I think this spell is really good. And the blind bonus is great as well. I don't think it's an A, unfortunately, but I think it's like a solid B plus.
Yeah. I would give it that. If you can sustain for free, so Sorcerer A or S.
Yes,
Cleric B.
I'm not giving it an A because of the sustain.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I can live with that.
Okay. All right, another divine spell because it has the word divine in it. Divine Inspiration. This is 2 actions, touch willing creature. If it prepares spells, it recovers a 6th level or lower spell. If it spontaneously casts spells, it recovers one of its 6th level or spells. And if it has a focus pool, it regains its focus points as if it had just refocused. So this is a great way for this divine caster to turn their shitty 8th level spells into other characters' better 6th level spells.
And focus spells.
And focus spells.
You can do this on yourself.
We're trading down here, right? This is not good, right?
It's mostly
I
bad.
mean, all right. The party gets 1 more 6th level slower days. Pretty S plus. But...
So, all right, if we're assuming that this becomes a thing, the thing, Luke, about this being a wand is like wands are really expensive at this level, and you don't have as much. And here's the thing: part of the wand's cost benefit is you got it at level 5, and you've been using it for 15 levels, like to pay it off. You just don't have the time in the campaign to get the same benefit out of it because time is running out, right? Great. Yeah. By the way, strategy said great way to get more level 6 slow casts. I mean, is that where we're at?
I think it's a C.
Is this? It's a cool effect. I will say it's a C. But this idea that like the idea that the cleric goes, I'll just take this and just give you guys better spells.
Cast slow no.
Yeah, just like, what am I doing here with my life?
Oh man,
there's nothing else. There's just nothing else. The best thing.
It is what you sign up for as a cleric, is to make other characters shine. So
no, that doesn't have to be that way. But all right.
I would actually say that the last part of it, the last sentence of it, is potentially the strongest use in mid combat.
Here's an interesting question I asked for you. I found. I didn't even take, by the way, the Focus Recharge 3. I found that I just didn't have time. Once I had like 20 plus spell slots, I just didn't have time to cast focus spells. They are not powerful enough because they're focus spells.
No, because the best focus spell users are actually monks and champions. Lay on hands
Okay,
and all the monk focus spells are ridiculous.
Yeah, all right, I'll buy that. You're casting it on a monk or a champion. All right, I'll buy that. Yeah. All right, I like C plus maybe then. I don't know. It's cool effect, and we haven't seen it, so I respect that. But let's not call it what it is. All right, Dream Council. Oh, it's in the core rulebook. It takes 10 minutes. The range is planetary, and it targets up to 12 creatures you know by name and have met in person.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
All right, you all fall asleep, and you share a dream.
No, the reason I'm laughing is because this is another way to get around disappearance. No, no, it's pretty good. It's like essentially it's a what, planetary? Yeah,
it
planetary.
100%. The spell should be a ritual.
Yes,
sure.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like why is this in my slots? Well,
you would never pay the cost for a wand.
Yeah, you would just never do this. Yeah, Andrew says another thing that should be a ritual. I completely agree. But Anthony points out the funny thing about this is it doesn't require the participants to be willing, and there is no save. No, it says it says can choose to immediately fall asleep.
Yeah.
And it ends for anyone who doesn't fall asleep. Yeah. I mean, it's an awesome effect, and it's awesome. It's cool, like, where your allies who are scattered around the planet, and it's like, you suddenly feel the pressure of a dream council coming, and you go, okay, and you're able to, basically, again, you cannot think of D&D or Pathfinder as anything resembling what you would ever perceive as medieval technology, because this is essentially like they're having a Zoom call. Okay,
right,
that is what you were doing here. You were having a fucking Zoom call. Yes, Pathfinder Zoom call. So
I reckon this is a GM like B or A or maybe an S because it's just so useful.
Yeah, I don't want to rank this on the player side. I really, even though I feel like the players would use it, it's kind of more of a wonky GM spell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very cool.
I'm going to use this in my campaign, 100%.
Yeah, and again, I think I'm going to give it an A. I think it's a very cool, powerful effect. And again, the 12 people, it's like, where are they coming up with these numbers? Why is
this is one of the most Lord of the Rings spells in the game.
Yeah, like for example,
it feels like yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is how. Now here's the only problem though. It's interesting. I'm trying to think of an example of this. Oh, this was in some book, but like, you can only cast this by people you know by name and have met in person, right? And so what you would imagine what would happen is, like, all the leaders of the countries, they themselves wouldn't go because that would be annoying. So they would have, like, their heralds, and, like, every, like, once a year, all the heralds would meet somewhere and, like, spend a day hanging out. And then they all go back to their respective countries. And then, like, once a day, this Archmage casts Dream Council on all of these heralds, and they can, like, relay information, share treaties, update information, and then when they wake up, they share it with everybody else. They go, okay, I've got notes for you, I've got notes for you, I've got notes for you. And that way, because that's how you would form an interplanetary network. Yeah.
That works. That's the only case where you'd buy a wand of it.
Yeah, right.
Government. Yeah, governments can afford the wand.
Exactly. Governments can afford the wand. All right, Earthquake.
There are definitely people in Absalom with that.
Yes. Earthquake is our next spell. Again, should have been a ritual. Kind of a long spell here. It's Arcane Primal. 2 actions, 500 feet, 60-foot burst. Long range, big burst. 1 round. You shake the ground. By the way, the GM might add additional features. Cliffs might collapse, or a lake may drain. Okay. Shaking ground for 1 round with your level 8 spell. The ground is difficult terrain, and creatures get a -2 circumstance penalty to attack rolls, AC, and skill checks. So basically, you're prone, but you're not prone.
Yes.
Fissures. Each creature on the ground must make a reflex save at the start of its turn to keep its footing or avoid falling into a 40-foot deep fissure that opens it. The fissures are permanent, and the sides are DC 15 to climb. It's pretty good. Collapse. Structures and ceilings might collapse. Roll a flat check for each. DC 16 for sturdy, 14 for average, and most natural formations, DC 9 for a shoddy. A collapse deals 11 D6 bludgeoning damage. Each creature caught in a collapse must attempt a reflex save to avoid it. All right. And you basically take the full. If you fail, you fall prone. If you critically fail, you take the full collect damage and you fall into a fissure. All right.
So what's the damage of falling into a 40-foot deep fissure?
20 damage.
Be 20 damage, yeah. It's like the only reason I don't like the spell is I could see it being cast, and then resolving it could take 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes, that's true. By the way, if you heighten this to 10, it is a half a mile range and a quarter mile burst. Wow.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is
awesome.
awesome.
10th level.
That's 10th level. That's awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, by the way, people, the DCs are flat checks. Those aren't DCs. Those are flat checks. So that's just
that's for structures.
That's for structures. Yeah, that's for structures.
And that's why it will take like a good fucking 20 minutes to resolve. If a player had this and the GM wasn't expecting it, and so you're a new GM and you didn't know that's what exists.
Well, you're level 15.
And they just cast it in the middle. I mean, whatever. They cast it and you weren't expecting it for the day. You hadn't prepped it or whatever. And then you have to sit there for fucking 25 minutes resolving them falling over, who's falling prone, who's going to the fissure.
By the way,
where in the map are we drawing these fissures?
Flamelord makes a great point. The existence of this spell alone makes you question why there are any cities left standing in Galeria. Like, think about it. You like a wizard cast Disappearance, then they cast Teleport, they appear outside of a city, and then they cast Earthquake a couple of times, and then they teleport back. And no one had any idea what was even going on.
There were not that many 20th level wizards in the world, though.
Yeah, there's enough.
I mean, it's only a level 8 spell.
All right. I like spell's huge. It's got big area. Has a lot of plot. Like you could literally bring a city to its knees with this. I think it's awesome. I'm gonna say it's a B.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's a GMB, and I hope players don't take it. just straight up.
Collateral damage, the spell. Dom Pokey, like, come on, there's got to be at least one spellcaster capable of 8th level that worships like Rovagug or something, like, right? Like, who's just like, haha, bring destruction and death to this entire world. All right. Can't be everywhere. All right, next, we've got the trademark removed Abidalzim's Horrid Wilting. All right. This does what it always does. 500 feet, target any number of creatures. Living creatures. You pull the moisture, deal 10d10 negative. Creatures made of water or plant creatures treat their save as 1 degree of success worse. Creatures that have no significant moisture, such as an earth elemental, are immune. End of story.
So it's gigantic radius.
I mean, that's
1 point less than average.
I mean, again, this is the dirty bomb of Pathfinder 2, right? 15th level spellcaster in a crowded market or or at the top of like a tower or on a roof with good sight lines at like a sporting event. Targets tens of thousands of people could be targeted with this spell.
Yeah, you just annihilate an entire huge area. Yeah, no, I mean, I like it. It does what it says. It's simple. It's got good potential. The range is insane.
Yeah, 10d10 is 55 damage. I mean, obviously this doesn't, it's not like amazing in terms of like your standard Pathfinder 2 fight versus 3 on-level creatures in the room that's 20 foot by 20 foot by with you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's why I'm thinking it's like a C. Or B maybe.
I don't think necessarily the spell is high rated. I'm just saying.
Okay, good. All right. It's awesome. Yes. Okay. I'm with you on that. It's awesome. It gets awesome points.
Yeah, it gets awesome points. So I'm going to say C, because again, I mean, it's 55 damage. Full stop. That's what it is. That's what it is. In 90% of your Pathfinder 2 fights, the fact that it's 500 feet, any number of living creatures is irrelevant, right? Like
meaningless, and it's fortitude as well. So
and the fact that it can only target living creatures is actually probably more of a weakness than a strength. So, C. But C. It's pretty sweet. It's big. All right. Some stupid Pathfinder spell that I hate already because of the name. Hypnopompic Terrors. God, I hate it. It's from Monsters of Myth, a book I personally hate. It's rare emotion, fear, illusion, incapacitation, mental. It's already got incapacitation, folks. So now it's a good thing that it could target up to 10 creatures. Hopefully they're all within 30 feet of you. Oh my God. Because that is the range.
It is in every single Pathfinder adventure, though.
Yeah. You send a wave of nightmare visions of course, because it's Pathfinder 2, and this is what we do, leaving them paralyzed by fears. These visions inflict real wounds on vulnerable targets, dealing 6d12 mental damage. And if you target a sleeping creature, that's bound to come up a lot, it wakes up as it attempts to save, but its save is 1 degree worse. All right, if they succeed, they take half and they're frightened 2. If they fail, they are frightened 2, paralyzed for 1 round, and takes the full mental damage. But as we go through these effects, remember it has incapacitation. If it critically fails, it's frightened 2, paralyzed for 2 rounds, and takes double mental damage.
Can we just rate it GMA and move on?
What is happening? How is this a GMA? What, the party's sleeping at the inn, and the super high level bard sneaks into the camp and casts this, and then runs away
with Disappearance on. No, this is like the opening gambit for this. I bet the reason it's the monster myth is because it's the opening gambit for some sleep-based monster, and then that's it.
Yeah, I agree. Andrew Hall says the power variance on these is huge. If Horrid Wilting got a C, this needs to be an H or an I. Yeah, this spells horrible. F.
Fear 2 on a success is actually pretty great.
Again, but they to get it, they would have to. It's incap though.
Yeah,
right.
but you're
it's
DM passing this, and
it's to target lower level creatures. You're not targeting higher level
which
creatures.
would be they'd be level 12.
Yeah, but 30-foot range, I'm not interested.
Oh yeah, okay, that's very fair. 30-foot range is terrible.
I'm not interested.
Okay,
I'm just not interested.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that's.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 8th level. Okay, we got to have some standards, like Maze. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
okay. All right.
Now, Maze only has a Maze only has a 30-foot range, but its effect is a little bit more noticeable.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah, there's no save, and the person gets trapped in an extra-dimensional plane, and they have to make multiple checks, and they have to get on the right path, and only if they critically succeed against a perception check or a survival check. So don't cast this on the legendary ranger, and you're straight. You're good, right?
No,
and it's sustained, and it's not incapacitation. Right?
Yep.
The spell that wakes people up with a bad dream, incapacitation. The spell that banishes people to a prison dimension with no save, that doesn't have incapacitation. Actually, the spell could have incapacitation. It wouldn't matter because it doesn't have a save.
And it'd still be great. Yeah, it's still great.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but it's sustained. Yeah, I'm spending one of my actions for 3 of theirs.
Yeah. I mean, it's 100% S tier.
No, the question is it S+? That's the question.
Yeah, is Maze amazing? I think it's very powerful. I mean, it is a...
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's an insane spell.
Is
it S+?
Maze stronger?
No.
Yeah.
No. I think it... Okay, is Maze better than Slow? Slow is S+. I think it is. I think it's
not
the
S++.
same.
No.
Slow 6 was S++.
Yeah. So it is better than 3rd level Slow.
You think this is better than 3rd level Slow?
Yeah, absolutely.
But given that it's an 8th level spell, though, right? Because at this level, you're using either your 8th level spell slot or a 3rd level slow spot, which is basically not a cost.
Well, I'm not saying it's well. I think it is better than 3rd level slow when you get to 8th level. It's even, and compared to 6th level slow at 8th level, this is a different situation.
I think this spell
in the situation where you use spells.
I'm going to say S+. I think this spell is S+. I don't think it's S+.
Absolutely.
Agreed. So I think it's S+, and the reason for that is because this is like one of the in endgame, like me and Edril know, we played a lot of endgame stuff, and Maze is just like a trump card. It is. It comes out every other fight because it's so good to just remove a monster from the combat.
Yeah.
Or remove a boss from a combat for like a round. It's ridiculous. No save.
Yeah. Even when I finally when my lich finally died in a fight, there was a round where they mazed it for 1 round. It crit succeeded its maze and got out like the next round immediately. But for the entire round, they were just like, all right, we're healing, we're buffing, we're doing everything we need. All right, just fine. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's totally.
It's amazing.
It's totally acceptable.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a very powerful spell, and we're talking about this instance. I mean, if you think about another, a more reasonable instance might be like, wow, this is a tough fight. We're level 15. We're fighting 2 level 16 monsters, right? That's a severe fight. 2 68 XP monsters. Yeah, I'll just maze one of those. It'll probably take it a couple rounds to get out. And now you've turned this severe fight, which is 120 XP, into a 60 XP fight, which is low. right? And now it's just
they just ruffle stomp.
You ruffle stomp it, and then the guy comes back after finally making his way through your maze. And he's like, "I'm back here," and then he sees his other guy's just completely dead, and he's like, "Ah, well, shit, I'm just dead."
Yeah, it's just two low encounters, which compared to a severe encounter is just...
And the worst part is the guy gets back, he's like, haha, I'm back. There's nothing in here. Just maze him again. There's nothing in here that says you can't be remazed. There's no, like, you cannot target them to another dimension again. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
Yep.
I mean...
Maze is phenomenal.
Yeah, and again, I'd like to point out, I don't think these spells should be in the game.
I want to keep them.
Because they're too powerful. They're just too powerful.
I don't care. As long as there was a way to get out, it's fine.
All right.
I think they're kind of great for high-level bosses when you want a one versus party, because it allows you to like reduce the action economy disadvantage that you have.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why what you start off with is like you fight like 2 level 17 wizards. They both start off by double mazing, which is, by the way, that actually happened to the Knights of Last Call in the one fight where they fought the Frostworm, and the Wheel of Pain generated that 2 people started to fight mazed, and half the party was out of the fight from the beginning of the game. All right.
Two hasted wizards run in. Power word kill, then maze, and then you just
Oh, Boothby actually has an interesting thing. Maze a friend that's about to die, and put them into their own like heal dimension. They can take whatever actions they want in the maze.
Yep.
They could heal up, and then you just don't sustain it. They don't even have to make actions, and then they come back.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like it.
I mean, that's awesome.
I mean, dude, maze. We will not.
That's
be
amazing.
Surprised by how awesome maze is.
Yeah. No. I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone's here surprised. All right, Mind Blank is next. All right, here we go. 1 creature, 30-foot range, 2 actions, and it lasts until the next daily preparation. So as long a duration as you can get. They get +4 status bonus to saves against mental effects. In addition, it attempts to counteract any detection, revelation, or scrying effects as if its spell level was 1 level higher, which is actually really nice. On a success, the divination effect functions normally, except that it detects nothing about the target and its possessions. So even if they succeed at the divination, it detects nothing about the target itself.
Yeah. This actually defeats discern location.
It does. This spell's great, right? I mean,
it does
it's so
exactly what it
situational,
does.
though.
But yeah.
Well, number one, +4 status bonus is fucking huge. And and mental effects are some of the ones that we like, that people hate the least, right? Or hate the most, right? Dominate person is one of them, right? Any of those.
There's a reason I bring a Black Pearl Aeon Stone in every single high level
We all
fight.
do.
I'm just
I think
like,
half the
I want
party
this.
has a Black Pearl.
And so that's great. And then, I mean, obviously, let me do this first. Let me do this first. I hate to do this because I hate spells like this, and I think that GMs who use these are horrible. So this is actually the first thing I'm going to do. I'm actually going to put this is going to seem weird. I'm actually going to put this as GMF. Because, because don't do this. I want my villain's plans to be, secret, and I don't want the players to be able to use their cool scrying spells to detect him. Fuck you, you're a horrible person. Don't ever do that.
Okay, quick rant right here. I just got out of a 1.5 year 5e campaign for exactly that reason. It's 18 months into the campaign, and we knew almost nothing about who was doing what and why. And I was just like, why am I playing this game?
Yeah.
I don't even know why my character is motivated to do anything.
like, for example, just as an example, right? Like, let's say you were playing Rise of the Rune Lords, right? And like Rune Lord Karzug or whatever was back or whatever, or like Mokmurian, right? The high level. Mm-hmm. This is absolutely the type of spell that they would be casting on themselves because they have these nefarious plans and they don't want people to cast them on them, and right? Yeah. But like that's horrible. Like why? Like all these, so many DMs, Pierre, to Pierre's point, but so many adventures and so many adventure paths love to keep the players in as fucking much the dark as they can, and it's horrible. Like these are we just said you people are gods basically at this point, and they're like, I have no idea what's going on. I guess it's got to go into the next encounter. Like it's just horrible. It's horrible.
See,
so I actually feel like
I think both of you are well-reasoned and well-articulated opinions and disagree. I would totally have all my big bads use this, but to be fair, I'm a very generous DM, because what it says is you can't see anything about the target and their positions. So what I would do is I would have the vision would be there would be a shadowy figure in like a fucking castle
By the way,
tower.
that's if they were succeeding, by the way. Remember, this does still get to counteract it. And if it counteracts it normally, okay,
Poof.
you don't get shit.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah. It's
so,
totally shit.
and you're
That makes
higher
sense to
level,
me. Like,
and it's one higher level.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'd use it all the time.
Now, that being said, CJ Pan says, is this the first Wand S? Cast this on the Barbarian like every day. I mean, I think it's a big bonus, and it lasts all day. I think that is a significant bonus. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know that I would.
It is, yeah. It's an expensive wand.
Yeah.
But it'd be useful.
Unfortunately,
I
it's
wouldn't-
arcane and occult, not divine, because the cleric could just say, I'm going to use all my 8th level spells, I'm just going to mind blank everybody, and I'm never going to get those slots back. Just roll it over for the end of time. But
I'm just going to mind blank everybody, and then I don't have spells anyway, so if someone mind controls me, it doesn't matter.
I think this spell is a B.
Yeah.
I would give them a wand A or wand B.
Okay, I'll give
Yeah.
it the wand A.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a fire and forget type spell. So
Yeah.
and it's basically like you're buying an 8th level spell slot at that point, right?
Yeah, it
So
is,
yeah. All right. By the way, I would like to point out wands are usually 8 to 9 times the kind of cost of a scroll. So if you don't think you're going to use the wand 8 or 9 times before the end of the campaign, you're better off just buying scrolls. All right.
Yeah.
Moment of renewal. We'll speed it up here a little bit. 6 creatures touch. The targets experience a day's worth of recovery. Any detrimental effects that would be gone after 24 hours end, although this does not shorten the duration of any active spells. The targets regain hit points and recover from conditions as if they had taken 24 hours of rest, but they do not get to make daily preparations again or gain any other benefits other than healing. So what does this do? Gives them like
What the fuck does this do?
20 hit points?
It gets rid of environmental effects like fatigue, for example, that cause fatigue, for example.
But doesn't restoration do that?
Maybe.
I don't know. This spell doesn't seem good. D. All right.
Sure.
All right. Monstrosity form. High level polymorph. Arcane Primal. 2 action, 1 minute. Here we go. You go legendary monster. Huge battle form. Phoenix. Purple worm or sea serpent. You get 20 plus your level AC, which is, let's see, what would that be? Full plate is 6 with +2. It's like, that's not great. Okay. 20 temporary hit points. You get a +28, which is equivalent to a barbarian or whatever. Athletic modifier +30, which is equivalent to a legendary. If you're a phoenix, you get fly speed 90, 15-foot reach beak. You do a bunch of piercing damage, persistent damage. You have a shroud of flame that does 2d6 fire damage. That doesn't seem that great. Purple worm, though. 2d12 plus 20 piercing damage.
Durable is really cool.
And you get inexorable. You automatically recover from the paralyzed, slowed, and stunned conditions at the end of each of your turn, and you are immune to being immobilized and ignore difficult and greater difficult terrain. That's pretty boss. And sea serpent, you can swim fast. All right.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was thinking +28 and the AC number. I'm trying to remember if that's good. I think that's average. I think that gets you up to average.
Well, let's see. Again, so plus level. Like, okay, let's put it this way: your caster would be expert because of their cloth, and they would have like +2.
The item bonus thing.
Item bonus, and so that's 6. And then they might have dex of like 4 or 3.
Yeah.
So they're probably at like 9. You know, right?
29.
Yeah, something like that.
I was talking about the attack bonus.
Oh, the attack
So
bonus.
+28.
Oh, yeah. So your master 6, you have item +2, 8, plus your level 15. So a 15 plus 8 is 23, plus your stat, which is probably 6-ish, 5-ish. So it's +28. Yeah.
So I think it puts you in average. That's pretty good. Yeah, all right.
I mean, I don't think it's like super awesome, but I mean, they're at least.
The damage is pretty high.
And you're huge. You get big reach. That's pretty cool. Now, again, remember, you're
I
not.
actually think it's A.
You think it's A?
I mean,
We have
well,
said some of the other forms were A, but
yeah.
I mean,
Like
I'm
rather cast this.
I'm not
than
impressed with the temporary hit points.
devil form.
Here's what I want this spell to say, and I know I don't care. In fact, house rule this. This should just say 100 temporary hit points. I know that sounds like a lot, but you're giving up your ability to cast your 8th level spells. You can't cast Maze because you're casting this. And then while you're in this form, you're not casting Maze. So you're actually, like, as a GM, the player is basically saying, here's a gift. I'm allowing this game to actually happen. Right? And the least you could do, if I'm turning into a fucking purple worm or a phoenix, give me 100 temporary hit points. Like, that would be awesome.
Big boy. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
So
20 is a joke.
The reason the devil form and stuff was because we supposedly let you cast spells, even though we don't.
No, ultimately we said raw is no. It's because the AC of the devil form was like the same as this.
Okay. So
and it gave you like
lower.
damage, and it gave you like resistance 5 or 10 to like all physical damage.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
actually, I think the devil form might have been AC 22 plus level.
Okay. Yeah, this
So-
is definitely not as good.
Yeah, so I think this is like a B. All right.
Okay.
Polar Ray. Vin, have you cast this spell?
I don't like this spell.
Okay.
But
Well, okay, it's a spell attack. It's 120 feet, 10d8 cold. If you crit, they're drained 2. If you succeed, they're
Tim likes
drained
the
2.
spell.
If they succeed, they're
likes
drained
the
2.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. No, that's if you succeed in the attack roll.
Yeah.
Right, with all these things,
No,
right?
that's what I say. Yeah. So, Tim likes the spell a lot. I can see why he likes it. I don't like single target spells.
But 10d8 is 45, and drain 2 is like 30, so that's 75 damage against a single target.
Yeah.
And you can aid.
And you can aid and you can true strike.
Yeah. So I think this is probably the apex single target spell.
It is probably the
In the
apex.
game?
Yeah, it's probably the best single target spell, except for like maybe Searing Light heightened against a fiend.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
So
undead.
I don't like it, but that's probably just because of my problems with single target spells. In my game, in Vin Finder, it's amazing. But in normal Pathfinder 2...
Now explain why it's better in Vin Finder.
Because in Vin Finder, I have glancing, for example.
Right.
Glancing damage, and then a bunch of other stuff. So,
Right.
spellcasters have item bonuses to their DCs and attack.
By the way,
rolls.
did you watch our Mark Seifter live stream?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you hear him?
I was in the chat.
Okay, did you see him say that the glancing hits used to be in the early alpha version of Pathfinder 2?
Yeah. I remember seeing the first interview where he talked about. It wasn't an interview. It was like
okay, yeah.
It was live stream, and he said that. Yeah, it was. But his version was like, way toned down from this.
Oh yeah. No, I like yours a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this spell is as good as it is. Now, I will say, in my campaign, I allow people to aid spell attack rolls using the aid rules. Like, if you could come up with a way to do it. I mean, I would even, you could use your spell attack, or use your skill attack, or use your, athletics, or something like that. I mean, if you crit, that's pretty good. But it's not the end of the world. B?
Yeah. B's good.
Yep.
B? All right.
Yep. Happy with B.
Power Word Stun. This spell's fun, said nobody.
I love this spell. No, I love it.
All right. Power level 8. It's power word. It's one action. Let's start with that. One of the most powerful effects in the game. It's just one action.
One action.
30 feet, one creature. 30 feet, one creature. I know we usually shit on the range, but in this case, if this had a longer range, what would we even be doing with ourselves? And at least I could get behind this too, because it's a word. They have to be able to hear it. It's not like you're shooting your voice across the battlefield. You stun the target. Once targeted, they are then immune for 10 minutes, so you can't chain stun them. So that's something.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're level 15 when you get this at 8. If they are equal to your level or one level lower, they are stunned for 1 round. That means
it's amazing.
That means they just lose all their actions. Okay? They get no reactions. They're flat-footed. It's horrible.
Yep.
If for some odd reason your GM is silly and they decide to go, hey, I've looked in the book and it says that if the party's level 15, if I throw 4 level 13 monsters at them, that's a moderate, challenging encounter. Guess what? You could just remove one of those people from basically the fight for 1 action, by the way.
As a sorcerer, you could remove 4 of them in 1 round, or 3 of them in 1 round.
Yeah. So no save, no in cap. Yeah, no. Shadram says no save, no incap. That's very strong. Don Pokey says 1 action for exchange for 3 actions plus their reactions plus flat-footed. Lovely. And then, by the way, here's the key. If for some odd reason you are fighting that high-level boss, just shave an action off of him.
Yeah.
I'll trade one of my low-level. There's 4 of us, by the way. There's 1 of you. I'll trade one of our 12 actions for one of your 3 actions, and you don't get a save. And that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's very,
This came up with me playing in Edril's game, because he's one of our GMs in the Knights of Last Call Discord. Against the Lich, we were level 16 or 17 versus like a level 20 or 21 Lich. It was like +4 encounter. And it was desperate. And I just went, you know what, fuck it. Power Word Stun Maze. So essentially, it was only had 1 action it could use in the maze. Even if it got out of the maze, it would only have 1 action remaining.
Yeah.
So it was guaranteed out of the fight for a round, and that's when we healed up. And in another counter, it was a on-level sub-boss that I just stunned for a round, and we just fucking soloed it. It was, I love this spell.
You were getting all quiet there, Vin, like you were talking to your sweet lover.
I love it.
Yeah, so yeah,
and the Heighten is good. The Heighten is actually really.
Oh,
useful.
right, obviously, because when you get to level 9, you just it increases. You're now level 17, so you just heighten it to 9, and now it works just the same, right? And
yeah,
it's great. And the thing about it too is, like we said, these spells are powerful because if you're not fighting against these higher level monsters, if you're fighting a bunch of lower, it's fine. The game is really going to help you just kick its ass anyways, right? That's the way it's designed. The reason why you need these spells is because these fights are so challenging and that you need something to be able to compete. So yeah, I'm saying S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
yeah.
S.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Prismatic Wall. We have not liked the Prismatic Walls. We are in the home stretch here. We got about, so let's go let's go lightning round here. All right. 3 actions. Gosh, they just love sucking that out. 120-foot range, 1 hour. It is a wall that is straight and vertical. You don't even get to shape it. It's 60 feet long, only 30 feet high, blah, blah, blah. Can't go through anybody's space or the spell doesn't work. But you can walk through the wall. Ooh. It's bright light and dim light. Who cares? Creatures other than you that come into the wall's light must make a will save, or they are dazzled for 1 round on a success or blinded for 1 round on a failure. And then they are immune to that blinding effect for 1 hour. So you get 1 shot to blind them. It does not have incap. So that's not nothing. I'll give it that. A prismatic wall has 7 layers, each a different color. Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green have the effects of a 5th level chromatic wall spell of that color, and the other have the effect of a 7th level chromatic wall spell of that color. A creature that tries to pass through the wall must attempt a saving throw against each component wall. The effects all take place simultaneously. So a creature turned to stone by the blue wall is still treated as a creature for purposes of indigo and violet. The wall as a whole is immune to counteracting effects of the wall's level or lower. Each color must be counteracted by its specific spell. So this is passable, unlike a wall of force. But if somebody wants to walk through the wall, they are going to get hit by 20 fire damage, 25 acid damage, 30 electricity damage, 10 poison damage, and a save to become enfeebled. Then save versus petrification, save versus warp mind, and then save versus being shifted to another plane.
I like Shadrim's post in the chat. That's very, very lovely.
Prismatic Wall is fun, especially with a monk with Whirling Throw, but a lot of dice rolls if you cast on a big group. Yeah, this is another one of those, like, you're like, well, this fight's taking 2 hours. That's another. Yeah.
For sure.
Prismatic. CJ says Prismatic Wall is crazy when you use Gravity Well to shove people through it. Oh, hey, a new way for templating being horrible. Right. You thought it was bad in Pathfinder 2 when you look at a spell description in a monster and you have to go look up the spell. Now here's a spell that refers to a different spell. And then on that spell, it refers to 2 different versions of that spell, one heightened, one not. I mean, I love
the amount of effects you have to look up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because by the way, we didn't even talk about that. Because the blue, you cast Prismatic Wall. So now you have to look up Chromatic Wall. And now you have to look up the heightened 7 of Chromatic Wall. And then you have to look up Flesh to Stone. And then you have to look up Warp Mind. And then you have to look up Plane Shift.
Enjoy.
So this is like spellception here. So obviously, that's a lot of effects. It's a lot of damage. I mean, somebody who just goes YOLO, and if somebody gets thrown into that wall, that's the greatest day of my life. Like that's. I don't think the.
Also, if you need to run away, put up a prismatic wall and just run away.
I mean, we're at 60 feet long, 30 feet high. I mean, we're at the point in the game where it's like, unless you're fighting in a Pathfinder 2 dungeon, like people are going to be able to dimension door around this or. Teleport or whatever, do some nonsense shenanigans and stuff like that. No one is actually going to sit there and cast the 7 different component spells it takes to break down your prismatic wall, right? Like that's
that's for sure.
So for me, when my sorcerer has had this since character creation, because it's level 16 is when we started. I have never cast this spell.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's because it's 3 actions. Once you get to level 15, 16, and you have quicken and stains and stuff to do. It is so hard to justify a 3-action spell at this level.
I agree, actually.
Especially when it doesn't actually stop them from coming through.
Well, no,
they can teleport.
A 3-action non-action spell, right? Because all this does is gives, right? I always say this before. Giving your opponents choices is bad. This spell itself does not put any pressure on the enemy. It allows them to react. They could choose to ignore the wall. They could choose to go through the wall. They could choose to say, all right, we'll just leave.
Compare it to Maze, right? Which is an action.
So they can shoot you through the wall.
So Chandram says we started applying the effects in reverse order after we spent all this time figuring out the creature took some fire damage before getting banished to another plane. It's not as dramatic though, right? It's not as dramatic. If my players cast a spell, I would just have all my enemy monsters just move immediately into the wall just so they could end it. I don't know. I'm going to put this. I think it's a C.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I'd actually say B.
Okay.
But don't cast the spell. It takes so long to resolve.
Right. It's a powerful spell, but it's one of those like loading, please wait. Your game is going to start grinding down. I agree with the B. All right. Prying Survey. It's from Extinction Curse. I'm not going to read it. F. All right. And if anybody,
it is awful.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well,
I've read it. So essentially, you create little eyes that fly around that can be damaged and destroyed, and the eyes give you like the ability to seek in a radius. I'm like, why is this an 8th level? It's 120-foot radius. It's not good.
All right, great. All right, and if you disagree,
and you don't even see through them. They send you reports of their findings.
If you disagree with me in chat, leave a tip. Let me know how much you disagree with me in chat. So the best way to annoy me is to tip me. Then, all right, Punishing Winds is our next spell. This is primal only. 100-foot range, again, 3-action spell. I cannot stress this enough. It's like, why is it that I'm getting higher level and now I'm getting less Anyways, 30-foot radius, 100-foot cylinder. Sustained up to a minute. Violent winds form a cyclone. All flying creatures descend 40 feet. It's greater difficult terrain for flying creatures and difficult terrain for creatures on the ground or climbing. Any creature that ends its turn flying with the area descends 20 feet. Any creature pushed into a surface takes bludgeoning damage as though it had fallen, which means it would fall prone.
It's a shit deluge.
It's a shit deluge. The spell's worse than deluge, right? In every
way.
In every way? Okay, D.
It sounds like it.
D. All right. D. All right. Scintillating Pattern. Oh, all right. I think we finally got to the right. There's that whole line of spells which exist in D&D. It's been there since ever, where essentially a flash of rainbows comes out from your hand and does something, and it's an illusion. This one is in cap, so already starting off great here. But it's 120-foot, 20-foot burst, so short-range fireball. Will save. Sustain up for a minute. A field of ever-changing colors manifests in the area. Creatures are dazzled while inside the pattern, as are those within 20 feet of the pattern's area. Okay? So it's like a 40-foot burst, but okay. All right, so everybody's dazzled. Everybody's dazzled. Everybody's DC 5. Creatures, by the way, you and your allies. A creature must attempt a will save if it is inside the pattern when you cast it, if it enters the pattern, or if it ends its turn within the pattern, or uses a seek or interact action on the pattern. A creature currently affected by the pattern doesn't need to attempt new saves. If they succeed, they're fine. If they fail, they're confused for D4 rounds. If they critically fail, they are stunned for D4 rounds. And then they are confused for the remainder duration of the spell.
Incredibly powerful effect.
Hugely powerful effect, but incapacitation. I mean, this is an AoE stun confuse and auto dazzle.
I like it.
I mean, I like it too.
I've never.
Hey,
I've had
Steve.
it, and I've never
Stephen
tossed
Palmer is here. He says, "Evening, gentlemen. I see you covered some of the best spells already." Yes.
Yeah.
Evening to you, Stephen.
Yeah. So I've had this. I've never cast it, and I just don't know why.
Here's why. Again, to Pierre's point, if my GM decided to throw a tough fight at me, let's say a couple of on-level creatures, and then maybe 3 or 4 level -1 creatures. So we're level 15 here, right? So they throw two level 15 creatures at me, or maybe a level 16 creature and a couple of level 14 creatures. This spell's going to wreck them because Incap doesn't apply, and they are going to be confused and stunned, and it's going to be just a mess while they hack into each other, and then they're stunned. Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. It's dead against small fights because they're higher level than you. So not only is the AoE useless, but it's Incap, and they're just going to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on
while inside the
what kind of fights you run into. If you run into mostly small fights with higher level creatures, this spell is pointless.
Agreed. But if your GM likes to use like a bunch, like, oh man, 8 level 12 things, giants, 8 level 12 fire giants attack you. Oh, this is gonna be a cool fight. Well, get Rex. Done. Just sit back and just enjoy the nonsense, right?
Enjoy the chaos.
I mean, at this point, you're sustaining for, in that example fight where you're fighting like 6 fire giants, right? You're using 1 action to sustain. You could be potentially draining out, I don't know, 12 actions, 18 actions, right? It's infinite.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I think it's great.
I don't know how to rate it. I think
I'd rate it. I think I would rate it an A or an S. But I'm gonna penalize it because of Incap.
Yeah, I was gonna go B.
But I know this sounds weird, but I just don't think you would cast this on a high level creature anyways, because it's AoE, and it's like I don't want to like unnecessarily punish it, but
right,
because like
no save dazzled is good.
Yeah, no save dazzled is good. I mean, my point is like when are you if you're fighting 4 creatures that are higher level than you, you're in trouble anyways. The Incap rule isn't your problem. So I'm actually gonna say A.
Yeah, okay, I can buy that. A sounds good.
I think this would really wreck an encounter. Spirit Song. Occult only. It's a 60-foot cone, and it's a basic fortitude save. You send out waves of ethereal energy to attack spirits. It deals 18d6 force damage. Nice.
It's a lot of damage.
And it's force, which nothing in the game has resistance to. A lot of things have weakness to. Because it affects their spirits, it can damage them if they're projecting their consciousness otherwise. Totally useless. It might as well not even exist. Oh, hey, we got a super chat from Scratch Paper Games, who has a kick-ass Dungeon Master icon as his logo. He with a $20 super chat. Awesome. He says, keep up the good work, fellas. Awesome. Great. Thanks, Scratch Paper Games. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that super chat. Yeah, we're finishing up here strong. Okay, AT&T6 Force in a cone is nasty. By the way, the vibrating energies penetrate into, but not through, solid barriers, damaging incorporeal creatures that might be hiding in solid objects.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
Can
Okay, so it doesn't
come
go
up.
off the other side.
Yeah, it can't go through a wall into like the next room, but if like a ghost is hiding in the wall or in a statue or in a pillar, it'll still hit it.
Yeah.
This is better. This is better than fucking. I would prefer to cast this than Polar Ray in almost.
Also, it's occult only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this
60
spell
foot cone.
at 18d6 is
Hey.
good. That's Cone of Cold level damage.
Above average. I reckon it's an A.
I think it's an A as well.
That's why.
I do think it's an A
Yeah.
as well. I think and Force is in my opinion, probably the best damage type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It
No,
is the
it's
best
good.
damage type.
Okay, yeah.
It's
I
very good.
mean, what does Magic Missile do? Okay, this is a cone magic missile. So basic fortitude is unfortunate, but sorry.
Yeah. But 60-foot cone's a big cone.
No, it is, and
Yeah.
60-foot, 30-foot cone's a joke. 60-foot cone I can respect. Yeah. The amount of extra area you're getting from there is probably 3 or 4 or 5 times as much area.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's a huge difference. It's an absolutely huge difference. Okay, Spiritual Epidemic. Divine Occult, 2 action, 120 feet, 1 creature. You curse the target. Womp, womp, womp. I typically hate curses. Sapping its spirit and leaving a contagious trap in its essence. It must make a will save. Any creature that casts a divine or occult spell on the target while it's affected is targeted by spiritual epidemic, and it also must attempt a will save. The curse continues to spread in this way. If you succeed at the save, you're enfeebled 2 and stupefied 2 for 1 round. If you fail, you're enfeebled 2 and stupefied 2 for 1 minute, and enfeebled 1 and stupefied 1 permanently. And if you critically fail, you are enfeebled 3 and stupefied 3 for 1 minute, and then enfeebled 2 and stupefied 2 permanently. This is a GM spell, right?
I'm trying to figure that out because this is a pretty powerful, like, success enfeebled. There's no incap, so success enfeebled to stupefied 2 is actually useful against most enemies.
I will say this, right? You're not. It's not clumsy, so you're not affecting their AC. -2 to attack is nice, and -2 to will DCs.
And spell failure.
However, you can't cast a divine or occult spell on them again, and this is a divine or occult tradition spell, because otherwise you curse yourself.
That is true. You lock yourself out of casting it.
Yep. All right. That's a big negative. Okay.
And it's only divine and occult, and it's only that's so
okay. All right.
Did they even think of it? Right? Because I like the idea of it. Right? Like I cast spiritual epidemic on the fighter, and then he becomes weak, and then when the cleric in the party goes to heal the fighter, he becomes infected by the spiritual epidemic. Right? Like I like that idea of it, but.
Right.
Yeah.
So GM is pretty highly rated.
I think this is a great GM spell. I think this is fun. The idea of this like curse that can bounce around your party. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this.
Is this the best curse in the game? It might be.
I mean, unless there's one that's higher level, but this is very good. Obviously.
Yeah.
I think this is like a GM A. I think this is fun. And also, by the way, like the failure condition is it's nice because like being enfeebled 1, stupefied 1 permanently isn't like okay, we have to end the day. Like it's a problem. It's not nothing. But being enfeebled 1, stupefied 1 permanently. By the way, permanently isn't permanent. You're going to remove it eventually. But it's reasonable. I just don't know how to rate this as a player spell. I don't know. I'm just going to say player C.
C.
Yeah.
Yeah. C. Because remember, fear is stronger.
Yeah, fear is better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, Frightened overrides all of this. The only thing Frightened doesn't override, Enfeebled gives you 2 points of penalty to damage, and Stupefied gives you like a flat check DC 3 or something to fail the spell.
No, it's actually really bad. It's brutal. Yeah.
What is it? 5
plus Stupefied.
It's DC 5 plus your Stupefied value.
4 plus Stupefied value.
Is it 4 plus Stupefied?
No, 5 plus Stupefied value.
It's 5 plus Stupefied.
Oh wow. Yeah,
okay,
7.
So 7, which means you have a 30% chance of failing a spell. Okay, that's not bad.
It's big. Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty real.
Summon Archmage, but not really summon Archmage. It's the fake summon spells. All right,
Oh my
Vin.
God, I want to put this in F. Can we just put this in F and move the fuck? Essentially, you summon an Archmage that does almost nothing and then leaves. Like it's fucking awful.
Here's the thing.
It's terrible.
I know you hate these arrive and leave spell summons, but functionally they work so much better in the game.
Oh really? Read this spell.
Yeah.
Okay. I spent.
I understand what Derek is saying. It's like it's much easier to handle it this way than it is to like actually summon a creature
Correct.
that has actions,
Of course. Yeah.
All right, you briefly call a legendary wizard, yada yada. It appears as an immense figure. It's large and it has 60 feet speed. When it arrives, you get the magic missile. You do 3d4.
Magic missiles.
You do 5. You do 5 3d4 plus 3. 5 level 1 magic missiles. All right, F.
Thank you. This is my problem. If they were powerful, I'd have no problem.
All right. When it
format.
departs, though, it drains the magic from my foes. Each of my enemies within 100 feet of the Archmage has to make a will save, or they become stupefied 2 for 1 round. And if it's one round, sorry. And if it's currently benefiting from any spells of a lower level than summon Archmage, the Archmage can choose any one of them and end it. That's not bad. That's not bad. All right, I'm upgrading to D. I think that's not bad.
Wow.
I'm upgrading to D because getting an auto dispel magic.
But it's next round.
Yeah, so what?
Fucking hell. Like, how many more useful things could you do with your actions?
All right. I gave it a D.
8th level.
All right.
You could just dispel them.
Yeah, but now I have to cast that twice. I only have to use. I'm getting 2 effects for 3 actions.
Yeah,
Look,
5 whole magic missiles
it's
with additional.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna read down.
it's
I'm
fine.
gonna redowngrade it to F because 5 level 1 magic missiles is embarrassing. Okay, I'll agree with that.
It really
All right.
is.
Summon, like, if my, you know what, like, we got to the point where we're like, you know, I just round everything up to like the nearest 10 when I play Pathfinder 2. Like, even as a player, like if Aaron did 72 damage to me, I just said, 70. And if he did like 76, I'd go, 80, you know. But like, if somebody, like, when effects like this happen where it's like, you take 3 damage, I go, that's 0. Like, it just does nothing.
Yeah,
Summon Deific Herald. It's another, I think, incarnate spell.
I have not read this one.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. We got a reader on this one. You have to have a deity.
Oh,
so,
God.
again,
Oh, my God.
Pathfinder 2,
It's
you
so
long.
don't have to choose a deity. Well, nope, you do, because otherwise you can't cast spells. It's 3 actions, it's 100 feet, and it lasts until the end of the turn. Your faith is strong enough to bring a direct representation of your deity. It is 60 foot, speed, huge, blah, blah, blah. It arrives, it does something. Okay, here we go. Oh, God. All right. Let's just pick a couple of these. Lawful Good. All right. When it arrives, you and all your allies gain the Retributive Strike reaction. The champions.
bad.
That's not bad. When it departs,
How long?
the 1 round.
Okay.
And then when it departs, the Herald casts 5th level Divine Wrath, which is shitty. It's an 8th level spell to cast a 5th level spell. Neutral Good. Everybody gains the champion's Glimpse of Redemption. When the Herald leaves, you get a 5th level heal. 3 action heal. So again, 8th level spell to cast a 3 action. But it only targets you and your allies. Chaotic Good. Guess what? You get the Liberating Step reaction. And then everybody gets a Freedom of Movement cast on them. 20
That's
Chaotic.
all right.
Everybody gains resistance 20 against Chaotic with the Lawful, and then it casts again orders 5th level Divine Wrath. A lot of them are 5th level Divine Wrath. So I guess the question is, how? I don't know. I mean, the After Effect is a literally 3 level lower spell.
Yes.
That's bad.
Yes. I think the only one I can see that's good on this is the Chaotic Good, because the Freedom of Movement's pretty great.
Chaotic Good is by far the best one that I've seen. Because
And the Liberating Step reaction is great. I mean, all
Right.
the champion reactions are good.
I mean, if you have a very heavy martial character party, and suddenly all like the barbarian is, hey, reduce 17 damage, and I get to make a strike, and then the monk is like, hey, reduce 17 damage, and I get to make a strike. That's pretty powerful. I think this could be
Yeah, it's
situationally
right.
good. I'll put it at C.
It's better than the other one.
It's better than the other one.
Archmage.
I'll put it at C. This one's okay.
It's better than possibly the worst.
All right.
incarnate spell.
Odo, name redacted. Odo's Irresistible Dance, Uncontrollable Dance. It's got incapacitation, though. The whole thing about this, by the way, the name of the spell used to be called Irresistible Dance, and that was the point. It had no saving throw. Now it's called Uncontrollable Dance. It not only has a saving throw, but it also has incapacitation. So, like, I don't understand how this happened, right? Like, Power Word Stun, never had a saving throw. It just worked. Still the case. Maze, never had a saving throw. It just worked. It still does the same thing. Odo's Irresistible Dance, no saving throw. The things just dance. Now it has a saving throw, and it has incapacitation. The hell is going on here?
Why don't they make it like the Power Words where it's like level scale? That'd be really cool.
I don't know, but they dance and they make a will save, and the range is touch. This is a touch incapacitation mental enchantment. And by the way, what happens? They're flat-footed and they can't use reactions, and they cannot use actions with the move trait except to dance or use the stride action to move half its speed.
So let's just say it's half speed.
Yeah, I mean technically though they cannot use move actions. They couldn't like stand from prone. If they fail, the spell's duration is 1 minute, and they have to spend at least 2 actions each turn dancing. Okay, so it's kind of like slow, but it's incapacitation, and it's single target, and it's touch. D.
Well, it's slowed 2 on a failure.
Yeah, it's slowed 2 on a failure, and they don't get reactions, but it's incapacitation, and it's single target, and it's touch.
Yeah, but they essentially die.
What?
And it's one. No.
But they essentially die. They're slowed 2 on a failure.
But it's one creature.
And you can reach spell this, so you can so it's 3 actions.
Fine,
Reach
C.
spell,
C. C.
C. Okay, yeah, I'm with
C.
you.
All right. C. All right, here we go. We got 4 spells left. Undermine Reality. Oh my god. All right, it's short, but it's from Extinction Curse. What did they do? Did Extinction Curse not have encounters or plot in it, and they just padded out every single freaking adventure with fucking spells? Because I don't understand how there could possibly be this many spells from 1 AP. I never read that one because I was like, this is about a circus. This is dumb. I'm not playing this. But
this one might be OP as well. It's like a disappearance
cap.
level maybe.
all right, here we go. 500 foot, 1 creature. You lash out. Oh, God. You lash out target with tendrils of shadow that steal some of its substance, making it quasi-real. As long as it is quasi-real, its strikes only deal half damage. That sounds cool until you realize it is incapacitation. It can't critically succeed on any skill check, and any creatures attempting saving throws against its spell treat their effects as 1 degree better than normal. So that is an awesome effect.
Yes.
Really good.
And if they succeed, it's until the end of its next turn, which means even if they fail and the incapacitation upgrades it. But that's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's great.
That's actually really good.
I really like this spell.
I really like this spell too. Like, wow, I really, because like you cast it on somebody that's higher level than you. Hopefully they don't succeed, in which case they're unaffected. I mean, this is the way it goes. But if they fail the spell, then it's treated as success. They are quasi-real until the end of its next turn. And so on their turn, they are going to deal half
If they succeed, they are everything you said. If they fail, it goes for a minute.
With incap.
No, but it's got
We're assuming
incap.
They were casting this on a
right.
higher level creature.
I'm assuming they're higher level than you. I'm not interested in casting this against, the level 13 monster. But I should also note that it does have incap, but it doesn't really matter because like once you're higher level, like if you're okay with that, like you'll just cast us even at 8th level. But
yeah, I'd heighten it.
I mean, again, if on its turn, if it's going to cast spells against you or whatever, boom, everybody treats their saves as 1 category higher. And it does half damage. And it can't critically succeed on a stealth skill check, but that doesn't really make a difference. But
so it's essentially if you were acting before.
I think.
So essentially you get 1 turn where the Lich can't kill you.
Yeah, I think this spell's like an A.
It's great.
I really like it. I would totally say this spell would probably even be better than S, but incapacitation obviously hurts it. But I think it's fine.
It's good.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yep. All right. Unrelenting observation. Oh, I'm gonna look at you so hard. Luke said, Derek, this spell is so garbage. Wait, oh wow, it's actually kind of good. Undermine reality. Basically, the effect should have just said inflict incap. Said strategy. I like that.
This one is bad.
Okay, unrelenting observation. We got a reader. Another one. Damn you. 100 foot, 2 action.
Can I summarize it for you?
Yeah.
For you pick a target for 5 and 5 billion creatures, they can always see that target, essentially. So
Gotcha.
they go past. They can see what it's wearing. If it goes past occlusions, you can still see it. It just always see. That's what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
If they
Target is
succeed
tracked
on
by
the
willing
save-
creatures. Duration 1 hour.
If they succeed on the save, it's still 1 minute. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is very good against the invisible running away guy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, who doesn't have disappearance on him because it still wouldn't work.
Right. No, I think
Or-
disappear would still work, right? Because this spell is not higher level than disappear.
Yeah. Or a caster boss that casts invisibility on himself.
That's what I mean. Like this would not work to affect a disappearance target.
Right.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because
I don't think so.
you still have to be able to see them.
No, it says it ignores the concealed or invisible condition, but it does not say it ignores the undetected condition.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, disappearance is an edge case. Fuck it. In most cases, this is okay.
Yeah, see?
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to hit your whole party with the ability to basically just have this person unlock.
Yeah.
All right, Whirlwind. 2 spells left. Whirlwind. We got Whirlwind and Windwalk. Whirlwind is primal only. So, all right, Druids, what do you get? You get a 500-foot range 3-action spell because we never want you to ever be able to command your pet ever again. We never want you to be able to move or use meta magic feats or do anything cool. All right, it's a 15-foot radius, 80-foot tall cylinder. I am 100% convinced that none of these spells have any sort of pattern or there's no like secret formula. I think they just make this stuff up. Like there's no reason. This is a 100-foot cylinder. This is an 80-foot cylinder. This is a 35-foot cylinder. Like what the hell are they even doing here? All right, it's sustained. It's a reflex saving throw, so at least there's that. All right, you create a tornado. You can only cast this spell if you're outside, or if the ceiling is 80 feet or higher. And what happens in that 15-foot radius tornado? Difficult terrain.
Oh, damn.
Creatures take 5d10 bludgeoning damage from the wind, and they make a reflex save. If they succeed, they take half. If they fail, they take full damage and go 10 feet into the air. And if they don't have a fly speed, they get a fly speed. What?
What?
The creature takes...
Okay, so it's lift people up.
Yes, it lifts. The creature rises 10 feet in the air. If it doesn't have a fly speed, the creature gains one equal to its speed until it reaches the ground or ceases to be in the whirlwind's area. So the tornado lets you fly.
Yeah.
But it deals damage.
Each time you sustain the spell, you can move the whirlwind up to 30
Shut
feet
up,
in a straight
Edril.
line. Each creature the whirlwind moves through takes damage, also with a reflex save. But a creature can only be affected by a whirlwind once per round. So
This spell does not know what it's doing.
Any creature that's in it an option to get out of it,
yeah,
so that they're not stuck in it.
right. Like this spell would be if this spell was like sucking up creatures and keeping them whirling around and stuff. But it gives them a fly speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bad zero gravity.
Yeah, with 5d10 bludgeoning thrown in. That I have to sustain each round. I'm giving this a D.
Yeah, all right. I'm good with that. Let's move on.
I don't think you'd ever cast this. All right, finally, Wind Walk. Now, we can traverse the plains. We've been doing that since level 11. But now we are level 15. Okay? Now, keep in mind that I think the range of a level 8 teleport is planetary. But if you're a druid and you're a primal caster, only you get access to Wind Walk. And you, in 10 minutes, and you and up to 5 creatures' targets, for 8 hours, transform into vague cloud-like shapes and are picked up by the wind, moving in the direction of your choice. You can change the wind's direction with but a single action, which has the concentrate trait. Good to know, thanks. You travel at an unbelievable speed of 20 miles per hour. But if any of the targets makes an attack, cast a spell, come under attack, or otherwise enter the encounter mode,
Oh god.
The fuck?
the spell ends for all targets just after they roll initiative.
And they drift gently.
And then they
Gently to
drift
the ground,
gently to
okay.
the ground.
Okay. Fuck this spell.
Yeah, this spell's horrible.
It has an effect. It's a D, probably.
Now, don't get me
okay.
wrong. So Ben said, hey, Ben. I just looked over. Ben says, I love Wind Walk in 3.5. I agree. In 3.5, it was awesome. It was awesome in 3.5. I
This
completely
is not
agree.
3.5 wheelbook.
By the way, Luke says Wind Walk is not uncommon. That's the take on this. I know you ignore the uncommon trait most of the time, but this is the other bad option for people who don't have access to teleport.
That's exactly what this is.
By the way, this is our last spell. By the way, Shadram points out: is this the only place that they use the enter encounter mode as a trigger? Isn't that? It's
Yes.
weird. It's weird how that rules text kind of intersects there, right?
I've never seen that before. So
Honestly, this is a good spell for getting around a new area. It just doesn't fit PF2's style. Brutus says this means anyone who owns a castle has to constantly shoot at clouds. I mean, yeah. Look, so you cast a spell, you can travel 160 miles in a full day of travel.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. The only reason to give it anything above a D is that that's common.
I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna put this on here. I'm gonna put it at D because it is in fact bad. But I am gonna put.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put a little green. I'm gonna put a little green border around it. Okay, here we go, green border, and I'm gonna make a little note here in my file, and it says C+ if your GM sucks. Right?
Yeah, accurate. It doesn't give you teleport.
Okay, if your GM is like, I was thinking about Pathfinder, and I was really thinking about how I really want my story to develop, and like I had this really cool idea that like maybe the characters would have to like go over this cool mountain range, and then like they were like, oh, we're just gonna teleport, and I was like, but it'd be cooler if you couldn't teleport. And then like they were gonna learn about the bad guy, but he's got mind blank, so like they actually don't know anything. It's really cool. So Windwalk D, but it's a C+. If your GM sucks. Josh Jurgensen says enter encounter mode is on invisibility sphere, isn't it? Yeah, it might be.
Might be.
It might be. Yeah. So again, yeah. I will
Targets
respect
more people than teleport.
Yeah, you get. I think.
Oh my god! Don't get me started on teleport.
Yeah, you get. Yeah. Also, stances are only available in encounter mode. No. I know that certain things in encounter. I love the idea of that. By the way, just like Pathfinder 2 so badly wanted to be 4th edition D&D. It really wanted to be 4th edition D&D, but because of the blowback against it, they just said, okay, we can't. But like every time you see something where it's like, monk, you're like, can I enter a stance? Well, you're not in encounter mode. Wait, what does that even mean? What do you mean my monk can't be in this stance because it's not encounter mode? Yeah. I love the idea too. It's like, you're level 15. The fighter just got cloud jump. They can leap 300 feet with a single action, but you're worried about them casting teleport. Like you need to, if you're banning teleport, you're playing the wrong game. Like I don't think it's wrong for a GM to say, I don't think teleport's right for my game, but then Pathfinder 2 is not right for your game, because you're just playing the wrong game. Sorry.
I kind of agree.
All right. So that is our level 8 spells. Thank you. Woo. All right, Lugas. So we're just doing 9th. All we have left is 9th and 10th level spells. Are we going to do them in one stream? I don't know. We'll see. There was a talk of the level 10 stream being a Zoom call with as many heroes as wanted to join.
Oh, that sounds baller. That sounds so good.
Oh, that sounds funny.
So just to have a mass celebration of all things Pathfinder 2, all things Knights of Last Call Patreon, sort of a thing. Because to be clear, this series has lasted far longer than I ever expected it to. But like when I first started it, somebody was like, "Don't hurt me. I've been hurt before." People start these type of streams all the time, and then they stop after two or three streams. They never finish. And I said, "I am gonna finish." And
I gotcha.
And
I'm pressing X to doubt, and you not realizing it takes this long. Because I remember the first episode, you were like, "This is gonna take a long time."
In my mind, I was like, "Oh, it'll speed up," but like it's just not in my nature to just to just glance over spells. Steven says level 10 stream, total chaos. Yeah, I mean, we might have to do that. So what we're probably going to look at is next week will probably just be level 9. I'm going to see if anybody from the Patreon, 1 or 2 people want to join, hop on. You gentlemen are free to join on. I know it's a little tough for you, Vin, because of your time. But maybe somebody else wants to hop on and talk about it. And then for level 10, we may just do this thing as like an 8 or 9 person Zoom call or something like that, and just
fuck yeah.
We'll just like everybody will just give thumbs up and thumbs down to rate the spells.
What might be interesting also for the level 10 spells is find a few spells from lower levels that heighten really well to compare.
Heal.
Because there are some spells at level 10 that that are really solid to heighten.
Well, there's not a lot of level 10 spells, so I think the other thing that we can do is we can do like a retrospective. So before the level 10 spell list comes out, before we do that stream, I am going to release. Originally, it was going to be Patreon only, but I think the patrons actually said they were fine with it going to YouTube. I'm going to put all of the spell rankings into a Google Sheet, a Google Doc, and I'm going to set it up so that it's actually useful for tracking traditions. It's really the way that a lot of the CSVs work on the web. It's bad for trying to find specific traditions. Because it uses a string, and so like Arcane Primal is a string, and like so if you want to like find arcane spells, you have to like click every single one that includes the word arcane. So we won't do that. We'll make it actually useful. But anyways, and we'll kind of like get a retrospective. We'll look at like stats, percentages, how many S's, how many A's, how many B's by tradition, right? Like which spells rank up. See how horrible Divine is.
How bad Divine did.
And just kind of just talk about that as a holistic. So in addition to just sort of being like a way to rate the level 10 spells, because we want to probably fill 2 hours, we'll probably do like 1 hour to do the spells, and then like 1 hour to talk about the magic, talk about the spells, talk about what are some pros, some cons, right? Like because one of the big things that Pathfinder 2 gets talked about a lot is this is the Marshall's edition, right? This is the casters got nerfed. Paizo hates casters. Shit on the casters. We've seen this over and over again. Ben wants to break down the fourth quarter TPS report. Yeah, exactly. I'll sprinkle some data science on there. It'll be good. But I think it'll be an interesting conversation. So next week
Are you
we'll
guys going to do a
level 9.
Dark Archive tie-in content with rating the spells from that?
Well, there's been this concept of, hey, there's been like 4 books that have come out since you started this thing, and some of the spells you covered, but like level 1 spells from like the Knights of Last Wall book we missed. Are you going to go back and fill in the gaps? I don't know. You guys have to tip me a lot of money because like that's like people are already in the chat going like, what about focus spells? There are a lot of focus spells.
That's
I don't know
too much. There's a lot.
There's a lot. There's like a couple hundred. And then like, are you going to do all the feats next? People, please.
That's impossible. There's way too many.
I mean,
we literally can't do that anymore.
I will say, although Vin is aware because he helped shape it. I may have changed things a little bit. I've had a lot more experience with the game, but the one thing we have never officially released, we've talked about it on the Discord, but we have never officially to the public released the Knights of Last Call official class tier ranking.
Right.
And we just got 2 new classes, Thaumaturge and Psychic.
I love Thaumaturge. It sounds like they didn't nerf it.
And obviously, I love the Thaumaturge in my preview. I hated the Psychic. And apparently, a lot of people said that what I hated about the Psychic, they apparently fixed. I didn't get a preview copy because, I sometimes say I don't like things. And so...
But like 5 people in the Patreon have one. All right, whatever.
Listen, I don't know. I will say that some of the feats I've seen in the class in the book seem a little too tongue in cheek to me. I started to see this in Book of the Dead. I really like Book of the Dead, but it almost seems like Paizo is reading the room, and it's not the room I'm in, and like they're like, oh, our players want silly things.
Yeah. I like
Steven
puppets.
tipped $15. This is for Root Bloody Root. Good job,
And
gentlemen.
to be clear,
I will have to catch up on the majority of this stream later.
All right, Steven just tipped $15 saying this is for Root, Bloody Root. Thank you very much, Steven. Appreciate that so much. He's going to have to catch up with us later. Steven, awesome. Thank you so much. Very, very nice of you. Thank you. Anyways, my point is, like, there's a bunch of things in Book of the Dead that it's like, you're a skeleton and you're like, you like can like take your head off and talk to it or something. Or like there's the one where like you can hold your arm to get extra, like you take your arm off and then you hold your arm bone and then you have extra reach.
I like it. I like puppets. I like pixies. Yes. I like the
I'm
shooting.
actually okay with a few of those silly things. It's not too bad to me.
I don't like it. I can't. I don't have to tell you. I just don't like it. I just don't. It's not my. I don't think you have to play. I don't think we. I don't think you have to play these. I don't think you have to play the game for goofs and for laughs. I don't know. I just.
You don't have to, but
I don't
this
think
is
you
saying you
have
can.
It's just like nobody takes anything seriously anymore.
Oh no!
It's
no,
like
Derek.
Everything
Pride
has,
the river.
everything has to be, mocked. Everything has to be cynical and sarcastic. It's like, I don't know. I think it's cool to like things. I think it's,
Yeah.
like.
No, I'm saying. All I'm saying is I agree with you to some extent, but that doesn't mean the system can't have Shunies.
Agree to disagree.
I think the system can have those things, and you don't have to use
Yeah.
them.
By the way,
like-
strategy.
Exactly. I'm with Edril.
When I hear you rant about the bard spells and the occult spells that have all these weird, obviously witch-oriented or hex-oriented stuff, I'm just like, if I play a bard, I'm just not going to pick these spells. It's okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I just want to say, so Strategy said, this is the same game where you beat up a pinned down elven lady while she's vomiting all over. Yeah. And you know what? We stopped playing Pathfinder 2 after we played Fall of Playstone. And we did not pick it back up again for like 6 or 7 months. Because we were like, pass. Like it's not the kind of play experience that we want to have. I guess it's just that escalation of things. It's like, okay, so now your Shuni's vomiting. Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, and yes, your bard doesn't have to take these things, but it's like, I don't know. Oh, we got
Tip $3. Your PF2 spells tier ranked series playlist is missing the level 1 videos. Derek. Thanks for the hard work, and I'm mad you rated Moment of Renewal so low. You really missed you heal a lot more than heal at that level and recover from a lot of stuff.
Okay, wow, big tip from Luke. He says, your PF2 spells tier ranked playlist is missing the level 1 videos. Okay, I will make sure I add those. Thank you. Thanks for the hard work, and I'm mad at you that you rated Moment of Renewal so low. You really missed that you heal a lot more than heal at that level and recover from a lot of stuff. I generally rate healing pretty low because it's literally free from focus spells and treat wounds. So I really don't.
Let's give him that. What would he rate it? He's in the chat. What would you rate it? I'm happy to, because we did kind of brush over that spell. It is one of the pinnacle divine spells. If he reckons it's a C, we can bump it up.
All right. Well, Vin is way more diplomatic than I am. All right, here we go. Moment of Renewal. Okay. Any detrimental effects will be gone after 24 hours. And the targets regain hit points and recover from conditions as if they had taken 24 hours of rest. Okay.
That doesn't sound like much healing to me.
Rest. Is that a word? Here we go. Yeah, good. You get hit points equal to your Constitution modifier multiplied by your level.
Okay.
So that's
Let's see, you have plus 4.
65? 75?
Plus 4 times 15 would be 60. Plus 5 times 15 would
Oh,
be
yeah,
75.
plus 4. Yeah, 5 would be 75, yeah.
If they rest without shelter or comfort, you might reduce the ceiling by half. Are they Moment of Renewing in a very comfortable place? Oh, then that should be half if they're doing it in the middle of the dungeon.
In the dungeons halved, yeah.
I mean, is that right? They lose the fatigue condition. They reduce doomed and drain conditions by 1. Again, you can also do that with restoration spell. And if
it gets rid of drained, 1 drained.
Yeah, 1 drained, 1 doomed. And that's it.
1 doomed is all right, I guess.
But again, restoration like level 3 or 4 does the same. So, and without a check. So, I guess I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, I think D's all right.
But I'm open to be wrong
but
here.
You went up to 6 creatures though, so I could give it a C. I could see a C for it.
Yeah, it's because it's cast on everyone.
You're forgetting 24 hours rest is times 2 because it's long-term rest.
Oh, is there another rest rule? Are you serious? Is there another rest? Okay, all right.
Yep.
Long-term rest.
You can spend an entire day and night resting during your downtime and recover hit points equal to your Constitution matter multiplied by twice your level.
Okay, all right. So it is a lot of healing. There we go. Okay,
There
you go.
All right,
Luke.
All right.
Fine, it's a C.
All right, I'll give it.
Luke should get points for being the only person who knows this fucking rule exists. I did not know long-term rest exists.
Oh, Luke says also if everybody has fast healing recovery, you heal times 4. And how long does it take?
2 actions.
2 actions.
Yeah, that's
all right. Okay. You know what? That'll play. In fact, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll give that a B.
Yeah.
No, I reckon it's an S.
Because
better than 3rd level heal.
I mean, because this is the situation we talked about before, where you fight a fight, you have all your 10-minute buffs, and you don't want to treat wounds, and
it's range touch.
The cleric just casts it on everybody. Everybody heals 80 hit points, 90 hit points, 100 hit points, and you just go right into the next fight.
Yeah, because its range touch hurts it a lot. You have to reach spell this to make it remotely usable in combat.
No, in combat, yes. But I'm thinking about this. The fact that it's touched 6 people,
Yeah, but in combat, you are giving everyone 75 hit points. That's enormous.
Sure, but it's like when you're comparing it to heal, you're forgetting that it's not a divine font, right? You have to use one of your 8th level spells.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a B though. I think it's like an A at least.
I mean, reach spell everybody gains 70. Well, it depends on your Constitution modifier, but most people are going to have this. I think the other key moment though is, I don't know. That's actually pretty good. Okay, I don't know if I'd go S though.
Yeah, A. I think A or B. A is probably where I'd put it, because it heals doomed, which is one of the few things that do that. And if it removed a wound, I'd like it more, but it doesn't remove wounds.
Michael asks, how do you touch up to 6 people at the same time? Well, that just means that they need to be next to you, basically, normally. But if you spend 1 action with your reach, everybody should have reach. You have 30-foot reach, and now you can touch everybody around it. So when it says range touch, doesn't mean that you actually have to physically touch them. It sounds crazy, but you don't.
It means adjacent square.
It just means that they have to be. No, they have to be within your natural reach. Like if you were huge,
if you have reach, then you can touch. Yeah.
Well, no, if you were huge, right? You could. Yeah. You have 15-foot reach on this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Luke is so happy that we gave the spell what it deserved. Yeah, I think I think A is good.
That was for you, Luke.
Would it get rid of fear? No, Booth B, it wouldn't, because it doesn't shorten the duration of any active spells targeting them. But it's only the stuff that would end after 24 hours. So, someone said we should check out one last thing: Dragon Form.
Oh, heightened.
Which heightens to 8.
Right.
I made a mistake and tried to use Path.
Archives of Nethys research.
I've been noticing you've been using Google search. That's pretty interesting.
Oh, I always do that. All right, here we go. So it's normally a level 6 spell, but now we can take it up. By the way, you have hands, and you can take manipulate actions, but you can't cast spells. All right, but if you go to level 8, you get huge. Okay. You get AC 21 plus your level, which is
it's a little better than the other one we had.
Which is 11 points of AC, which is equivalent to, like, again, you were having expert plus 2 runes is 6, and maybe your dex is like plus 3. So like you're probably at like 19. So this is like 21. So it's a little bit of an AC buff. You get
it's one higher AC than the other form we saw today.
You get the same attack modifier.
Temporary hit points.
You get the same attack modifier 28. The other forms had a plus 30 athletics modifier. This is only plus 28.
Yeah.
You get a plus 14 status bonus to your breath weapon damage. Let's say you were, I don't know, gold. 6d10 breath weapon. So 6d10 plus 14 damage from breath weapon. You're huge, and your fly speed is something like 60 or 70 feet. So
I'd probably still rather be a purple worm.
Stratega tipped $5. Can we also get Justice for level 7 time beacon? Use it before casting level 6 slow for pseudo advantage.
Strategy said, can we also get some Justice for level 7 time beacon and go back in time and use it as a form of advantage for slow? You know what? We'll save that one for the final episode on reconsiders, because that's a different level.
We've already established in this session that we shouldn't rate things about how much they're useful to buff slow. Like, for example, like the one that gives people level 6 spells. True. Like, we shouldn't rate things at just how many slows it equals, you know?
That's true. So somebody asked for this. Do you think Dragon Form changes materially on this respect? The breath weapon recharges every D4 rounds. So,
I'd rather be a purple worm, because that has like plus 20 to its damage.
Yeah.
Not plus 14.
Yeah, I think
it does give you a fly speed, which is cool. But
it does give you a fly speed. I gotta say, it doesn't. The temporary hit points is 10, and it goes up to 15, so that's less than the other one. The other one was 20. I wanted 100, by the way. Your damage bonus is plus 12. Again, the other one was plus 20.
Yeah.
Breath weapon's nice. I mean, I'll say this. This is, if I was a level 8 character and the GM threw encounter with 10 imagine this on a VTT. It would just look so cool, right? You and your party, you're there, you're in the valley, and then frost giants start coming down with their polar bear pets, and it's like 12 or 13 of these frost giants and polar bears, and you go, this it's fun. Let's have some fun. This is not one of those do or die, balls to the wall. I got to be playing at your height. I'm going to turn into a huge gold dragon, a red dragon, and I'm just going to breath weapon the shit out of all these things and watch them critically fail on my breath weapon and take 6d10 plus 15 fire damage doubled, and I'm just swathing through. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, like, in fact, I argue,
have fun.
I mean, that, in my personal opinion, that's how you should be playing D&D, but not like this. Oh my God! All right, I gotta stack this, and I gotta stack this, and if I stack all this, then if we combine all of our attacks, I have a 22.1% chance to hit the boss. But if we all do that, then combined, we have an 84.5, repeating of course, chance to hit the boss. Like, that's horrible. Like, I want to turn into a dragon and breathe on fire giant or frost giants. So
I like both.
I like both. I'm gonna say Dragon Form comes in at a C. All right.
Yeah.
That is level 8 spells. So I want to say thank you to our 2 guest hosts, Mr. Edril, Mr. Self-Confessed Cynic, both strong and supportive heroes of the Knights of Last Call Patreon, both extremely pivotal members to the community, masters of many a high level game, and love to have the opportunity to have them on here. And again, one of the perks that you get for being a hero of the Knights of the Last Call is that when these opportunities arrive for people to come on and be guests, heroes are people I'm going to reach out to and ask if they want to be part of the game. So if this is something that you think might be cool and you want to join the stream sometime, consider the hero tier. But we have other tiers as well, and I definitely encourage you to check out the Patreon. Again, I think the higher tiers are worth it, but if you really just want to see what it's about, come join as a knight or a squire and pay a couple bucks and see if it's to your liking. Then you can upgrade later. And I want to say, like you did, Edril, yes. And I want to say, and we have a ton of other benefits. I'm not going to go into it here, but we have community games where I think Ben is running like 12 different non-PF2 games in the next couple of weeks. We've got a massive, basically the World of Warcraft of Pathfinder 2 games running on, called Northern Reaches, which we've talked about on the channel before. So if you want to play Pathfinder 2, it's a cool place to come. If you want to learn about other games and play other games, it's a great place to come. If you want to talk about role-playing games and get into the theory and the philosophy, it's a great place to come. If you want to shitpost, it's a great place to come. So like, it's just a really active community because people pay to be there. And so, it kind of raises the bar. The quality of the people there is better and higher, and people take it a little bit more seriously because they're paying to be there. So, if I sound elitist in gatekeeping of my own community, I am. It's a really good community, and I definitely think if you've liked these streams, if you've watched 70 hours, if you have watched every single one of these streams and you are not a patron, you were doing something wrong. Like this is exactly for you. So
you get more of this in there all the time.
Exactly.
Every day.
Every day. All right. So I want to say thank you again to everybody. Thanks to all of our patrons who support the Knights of the Last Call every month, not just these two gentlemen. Thanks to everybody who came in today with tips, supporting, and joining as adventurers, stream elements, super chats, the whole 9 yards. Thank you all so very, very much. Love to have you in here. And Roll for Combat showed up real. Says, did Derek go off on the D&D movie trail yet? I'm trying to be positive, Steven. I'm trying to be positive. And I'm sure if I watch this trailer, I am not going to be positive.
Okay. All right.
Sean says, I have watched all of these, and I am not a patron. Sean, we are your people. We are your people. Yes. I can promise you that. All right, everybody.
Derek, I think we need to watch this D&D trailer together. How often are you going to have two patrons and you on the one stream and a D&D trailer just releasing?
Okay. Is it really a trailer?
It's a trailer.
Yeah, I think it is like 2 minutes or something.
I watched it. It's 2 minutes, yeah.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay.
Yeah. Someone posted it earlier.
This won't work over our audio solution, so we have to watch it individually, but just tell us when you're watching it.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to watch it here.
Okay.
It's called Honor Amongst Thieves, I think.
Yeah, which is a horrible name already. Let me get this thing.
Yes, it is. I'll sync it to tell us when you're playing.
Okay, there's a couple. All right. 3. Hold on a second. I've lost my mouse cursor. 3, 2, 1, start.
All right.
Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies.
This is the first D&D movie.
Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge.
Look who's dying.
That looks horrible.
Good. I think this is better visually than
I appreciate the mistake the dragon is not spitting fire.
Yeah.
Truth be told,
why are they playing rock music?
We helped the wrong person
this is your
the wrong
fault.
thing. We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known.
They're playing it for jokes.
But we're gonna fix it.
Yeah, this is
So how do we pull that off?
This is Marvel. D&D.
Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
You need to
To give us a fighting chance, we're gonna need strength. You got
You
this,
know
right?
what? I like
I know you don't.
I'm not gonna watch it.
We also need courage, magic, and you.
Owlbear, Derek. Owlbear.
What is that
See?
again?
Yeah, they told you it's an
Owlbear.
owlbear.
That dragon looks horrible.
There is evil here.
I'm okay with it. I don't
I'm glad he's on our side.
This is Avengers D&D.
This one's dangerous.
See the mimic, Derek. You remember those?
But whatever happens,
And the displacer beats. You're getting all the beats.
Yeah.
we'll be ready.
Another dragon. Different dragon.
What is it exactly that you bring to this?
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
you make plans that fail.
No.
He also plays the
Or
lute.
is it?
Not
He's
relevant.
It's Star the Bard. Star the Bard, Derek.
Yeah, that's why they use a whole lot of love, because we all know that the only thing that bards are good for is a whole lot of love of the NPCs.
Well, that was awful.
Let me tell you my take on this.
Total Entropy tips
it's not gonna be a
$10.
good
Also-
Excited for the new Marvel movie.
Total Entropy said tip $10. Thank you, Total Entropy says I'm excited for the new Marvel movie. Roll for Combat says I broke Derek. Thank you, by the way, Total Entropy. I am not excited for the new Marvel movie. Ben says it's trash. Anthony says, good God, so corny. Whereas Flameloud said a barbarian rage and leaping into a dragon perfect. It's a very low budget start.
Yeah. So my take on this
Edril, you had a
is
take.
Yeah.
What Edril have
it's
to
not it's not going to be a great movie. I think it's going to be
No.
somewhat entertaining, and I think if we want an actual good D&D movie to ever get made, we need to support this mediocre to bad D&D movie.
say? Ooh, that's an interesting take.
Lance Quagmire, who is a member of the Patreon, as he summed it up best. He said Bob will love it.
100% true. And you know what? I'll
100%,
probably
yeah.
enjoy it because it'll be some silly,
Look,
fun, ridiculous thing with bad.
I'm more
GFX
interested in
and all
that
that.
than the latest
let
Marvel.
me just put it this way.
Oh yeah,
Young
I'm so
Derek,
marveled out.
young Derek thought the original Dungeons and Dragons movie was horrible. So I can only imagine what old Derek will think of this. It is just brand exploitation to the max. And I'll be honest with you, this is what it's going to become. This is the future of Dungeons and Dragons. It is going to be just this corny shtick of like, oh look, like it's literally the Screen Rant thing, like when he goes, and then they'll form the Fellowship of the Ring. That's the name of the movie. I know that's the name of the movie. They're gonna be, look at that. That's from D&D. That's from D&D. I know that because that's in the Monster Manual. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a mimic. Those are in D&D. I have a plushie. That's a mimic. No, that's horrible. That's not what.
I agree with you. The problem is, in order to get that movie made, these movies have to succeed first. To get the movie that you want made, you're never going to get the movie that you want.
Okay,
the
so
first
as a counterpoint to
D&D movie that is
Edril,
made.
as a counterpoint to Edril, I will point out that it took fucking 20 X-Men movies before we got Logan. How far do you want to take this to go, Edril? How many of these movies do you need to pay
I
for?
will gladly give up Logan and in exchange never have had X3. Okay, I'm okay with that exchange. Okay.
I'm not. I'm okay with all the bad ones.
Okay.
To get a good one.
Roll for Combat is really coming from my soul here. He says, Derek, did you see the toy line yet? No. But this is
I'm not staying around for that, so that could be over. That could be off the stream.
now. Shadram says, I think this is the right way to go for a D&D movie. There's plenty of other source material for serious fantasy. Playing this for laughs with all the goofy D&D embodies works for me.
Well,
We talked
how
about-
Critical Role is this out of 10?
8.
It's not very.
I think it's 8 or
Yeah,
8.
it's like 8, but without the.
Critical
I
Role.
think Critical
Critical
Role
Role.
plays closer to the.
No, I think Critical Role is weird. They have these. They're it's a very serious game, and then but they routinely make fart jokes. It's a very
Yeah.
it's a very strange type of response. I get it. Okay, I've played in D&D campaigns that are wonky and crazy and zany and whatever but I agree with Indigo Dragon, which is that the original D&D movie tried to be for laughs and it sucked. this movie will get panned. If it has 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's gonna be a high score.
I reckon it's going to get like 60 or 70. That looked enjoyable.
Metacritic
that looked like
is
a stupid enjoyable movie.
Metacritic is going to shit all over it. Yeah, but like I don't need more stupid enjoyable movies in my life. Like,
yeah, but you're not the target audience. Well, actually, you might be the target audience. You might have been. I don't think you're the target audience anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is that the target audience is the people who enjoy Marvel movies.
Oh yeah, like why wouldn't you make a movie that is the Marvel movie, right? Like that is 100%.
Yeah, because they make a lot of money.
They make a ton of money. Yeah. Even when they're bad, they make a ton of money. Like I just saw Thor: Love and Thunder. Didn't like it. I saw Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I didn't like it. I saw The Eternals. I didn't like it. Black Widow. Didn't like it. Like they were all bad, and yet they made just a ton of money. Just a ton of money. And so, is this movie going to be good? No. Is this movie going to be successful? Probably. Maybe. Yeah. But like, what is this doing? Like, you have to take. We aren't the band studio. You're not getting a cut of the D&D movie. You get to go see some stupid, dumb, silly fantasy movie. Great. Okay. You get 2 hours.
I'm okay with that.
You get 2 hours. Yeah, but you're not considering the cost. And I'm not talking about the ticket. What does this do to role-playing games?
I'm saying that the cost is worth it.
No, the cost that you're gonna. This gets injected into the zeitgeist of what people think role-playing games are and could be and should be.
I think it already is. I think this is just a reflection of what the zeitgeist is.
Yeah, like, example, and again, I don't want to shit any people who like Critical Role here. I get it, right? But like the animated series that they made for Amazon of their first season, and it's just like, we're a bunch of drunks, and I'm a bard who likes to rape people. Like, that's not cool. Like, that has consequences. It's like, I like to stick my dick in every person I meet. Like, that's how I play bards. And then you get to Reddit and you see these horror posts of people complaining about playing with these socially degenerate, horrible, awful people who are trying to be like the cool thing they saw on the Critical Role because Scanlan was a horny bard. I'm going to be a horny bard too and make everybody else that isn't getting paid $155,000 a year to play D&D uncomfortable. And it's like, the game doesn't need to push in this direction. So, anyways, all right. That's.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I think you will still be able to find people to play with that have the same mentality as you do. There's just more people who are going to be playing the game, and most of them are going to be playing it this way or the Critical Role way, and maybe a few of them are going to be looking for something a little bit different. And, I think eventually it expands the hobby and the player base enough that we will get to play with more people than we would have otherwise.
I just want to point out that this is exactly how the Discord is. Not everyone agrees with Derek. And you get conversations like this, where it's like, Vin's in the middle, because I'm always in the middle.
You are very much
Derek's
in the middle. Roll for Combat says it's going to make money. I will have to fly to Derek to see the movie with him in person. Like that, I'd have to buy out. I'd have to buy out the theater because I'd have to be like, pause it. What the hell did?
I think we have a date. I think we have a date for the first NightCon, which is the release date of this movie.
Like also, and I mean this realistically. How many D&D campaigns? Like, why is it there've been two? Well, there've been there was like a direct-to-video one, but like, why is it that there have been two D&D movies and they were like thieves? Is that like how many campaigns have anybody played where like we're a bunch of thieves and we're a thieves guild and we're breaking in and we're stealing, we're doing the heist? None, like almost none that I can really honestly think of. Like, why is this such a common thing for these movies? Why can't they be adventurers on a quest? Because then you'd have to probably take it seriously. That's why, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have those movies like Ben said. They're Conan the Barbarian. They're Willow. They're, they're not called D&D, but that is what they are.
And I don't think you can call I actually don't think you can make a serious movie called Dungeons and Dragons in now. You just can't. Like the people who would want a Dungeons & Dragons movies to be serious aren't looking for a Dungeons & Dragons movie. They're waiting for the next good Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah. Well, I just want to give a special shout out here to SC Voldo, who is in the chat. SC Voldo is my very, very, very good long-term friend Rich, who's played in more D&D games with me than I will probably ever play in the rest of my life combined. And I think this might be the first time I've seen him in the chat. So, hey, welcome, buddy.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know. I just. It's
Well,
look.
there
Okay,
you go.
no. Here,
Click
no.
it, make it a video.
Take back everything that you. It's designed to make money. It's not designed
Yeah,
like. And here's the thing. I don't care about Hasbro making money. I care about them making a good game.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. And if it makes money, maybe we get a good movie eventually. By the way, Vin, the good Lord of the Rings movie has to be Silmarillion's Children of Hurin.
Okay,
I mean,
all right. Well,
that's
no,
the way-
no.
I'm gonna get it.
But to take us back, but look where we've been. Look at 2001, 2002, 2003, which were incredible moments in my life going to see Lord of the Rings each Christmas. Okay, then cut to 10 years later in our modern era, and we got the fucking Hobbit movies, and those things were horrible.
They're awful.
They're
horrendous.
unwatchable. They're unwatchable. I don't care
Absolutely.
how cool Legolas is jumping on stones that are falling. Which doesn't look cool. It's actually so cringy. It's painful. But
Yeah.
those movies are unwatchable. And I don't know. I think we're going to get more Hobbit than we're going to get Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
definitely. Rings of Power looks awful too. So
I also think Rings of Power Rings of Power looks horrible. There is
I don't know what that is.
it's the new
That's the-
interpretation of the Second Age of Middle Earth when the Rings of Power were first forged by Anatar and Celebrimbor and blah 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 blah.
Gotcha.
Bunch of Tolkien nerdy
And
shit.
it's the Amazon
when are they
TV
making-
series.
There is,
Amazon
believe it or
TV?
not,
Okay.
only one show that I am actually looking forward to watching. House of the Dragon.
I can't believe you have faith in this.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Okay, two things.
Stop
Number
doing this
one.
to yourself.
Number
You're
one.
doing this to yourself.
Number one.
The
Dan-
source material is good.
Number one, the source material is really good. Number two,
It's
the
already out.
source material is finished. Number three,
Yes.
Dan and DB Weiss not involved.
Good. Okay. All right.
So
Yeah.
we know HBO can make good Game of Thrones shows.
Wait, well, okay. I take your well-reasoned points and raise you. What year is it, Derek?
Well, it's 2020. It's 2022.
So will it be good?
So Luke says, related to this, did you see that they used Pathfinder artwork for the D&D movie poster? So actually, here is my take on that. I have seen this. Couple of things. The Pathfinder 2 creature is called an intellect. That monster is called an Intellect Devourer. The Intellect Devourer is intellectual property owned by Wizards of the Coast. So if Pathfinder 2 had an Intellect Devourer in one of their books or had art for it, I am almost certain that they were licensing that from Wizards of the Coast, which owns the trademark on Intellect Devourer. There's a couple of monsters in the game, like Mind Flayer, Beholder, etc., which are considered to be unique creations of TSR, which Wizards of the Coast acquired when they bought them in 1998. And so the Intellect Devourer is an IP owned by Wizards. So if Pathfinder 2 had it for some odd reason, they had it, I'm almost 99% sure, under license. And so that image may very well, they may have had rights to it. So that would be my takeaway. Anyways.
At the stream?
That's the stream. Thank you for ending on
All
such a
right.
positive note. All right, everybody. 10 o'clock, 3 hours. I'm going to let these guys go. Look forward to seeing you all on the stream. Weekend's coming up, and so that means no work to interfere with me spending too much time on the Discord. Thanks again to everybody who's tipped. Thanks again to our patrons for their continual support. And we'll see you all next time on Knights of Last Call.